6:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Jackson Williams. In Titans news yesterday, the team waived former first-round pick wide receiver Treylon Burks. Burks was originally waived by the team in August with an injury designation, but reverted back to the team's injured reserve list once he went unclaimed. Burks will become a free agent today if he is not claimed. He ends his Titans tenure with 53 receptions for 699 yards and 1 touchdown over his 3 seasons with the team. In NFL news, the Ravens are trading edge Odafe Owe to the Los Angeles Chargers along with a 7th-round pick in exchange for safety Alohi Gilman and a 5th-round pick. Owe had 23 sacks in his 4+ seasons in Baltimore. In the MLB, the Yankees kept their playoff hopes alive last night with a 9-6 comeback win over the Blue Jays in New York yesterday, sparked by an Aaron Judge 3-run homer. That series sits at 2-1 in favor of Toronto. Game 4 tomorrow in New York. First pitch at 6 p.m. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into your Wednesday morning. Fall is kind of here in Middle Tennessee. I'd considered putting on a lightweight jacket this morning. You might need to as well. It's going to be in the 70s later, but if you just want to feel something, if you just want to have cloth on your arms and just have the positive feelings that are associated with that, today might be the first day to do it in quite some time. 615-737-1045 is our number. It is Wednesday, October the 8th, and there is a lot to get to as always. Brad Crawford talks college football with us at 7 a.m. We're going to dive into how Tennessee earns another trip to the college football playoff. Fraud versus for real returns here in 20 minutes, taking a look at teams who are legit and teams who do not match their records in a negative sense as well. Plus, of course, Rhett Bryan previews the upcoming Titans matchup with us at 9 a.m. Your thoughts on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch on this beautiful Wednesday in Nashville, Tennessee. Good morning, Ramon Foster.
Hey, what up? Well, I'm with you. I thought about fall all yesterday because I knew yesterday's weather, the rain and all, was I knew that was going to bring a cold front. Okay, I think sometimes in the next few days we're supposed to have a high of like 68. So you're not wrong at all.
Love that a lot.
But Wednesday's a reset day, man. We can put the win behind us as far as the Titans go. We can speak about more college football, the upcoming weekend. You mentioned yesterday, and I look more at it. It's a deep slate of just good football this upcoming weekend. And I was listening to our guy, Stephen Godfrey, a little bit this morning, too. He was speaking about some jump off the cliff wins or losses this upcoming weekend for teams. And I didn't realize it would be that tight. We're just at the halfway point of college football. And listening to him and Andy Staple and Wasserman this morning, Ari Wasserman, like some people are already talking about buyouts in college football.
Oh, yeah.
Have we gotten that
people
tight?
are talking about buyouts in August.
Man.
It just gets a little bit louder when you lose to, I don't know, Texas A&M and put up 10 points and get sacked 10 times at Oklahoma. Yes, Auburn, I'm talking about you.
That's what I was going to say. Hey, Auburn, for an offensive guy that he is, what's crazy to me about Auburn, I know we talk about them a good bit. There's a big alum here in Nashville or just fans of Auburn,
It's the second biggest fan base of the SEC in Nashville.
Yeah, it's wild to me. But all I ever know about Auburn is, to be quite honest with you, national championship, big-time historical football moments with the plays that they've made here or there. They always rival Alabama. And I'm thinking to myself, how is that team so unstable with it? Like, they're most recently have done good stuff, even in basketball.
You got to start with the third one. The third bullet point you gave is really the first one, is they're Alabama's rival. Okay. Because their whole identity as a program and as an athletic department is being Alabama's rival.
Gee, that's tough.
That's who they are.
I know, but like you can't separate the two. They're in bed together at all times. They walk the same stride, or they want to walk the same stride is what it is. But they got the same resources. They have won. They don't. Okay.
I don't know if they have the same resources.
Smell like broke down there.
They don't have the same tradition.
Same tradition.
I mean,
but they act
not
like
football.
But they act like it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think they just act like they're Alabama's rival. I'm not going to say little brother because I don't think they're little brother, but the championships would suggest that they are. But that is a season-defining game. There are certain rivalries where that game defines the entire season. If you beat Alabama, it's marginally a much better season than a lot of other rivalries would change the tenor of a season in college football. Like if Tennessee beats Alabama,
right.
It's a good year, right? Like it's that kind of game to where if they beat Alabama, they feel really good about life in that state, and it's easier to live in Birmingham when Auburn beats Alabama for people of that persuasion.
So for me, I'm not afraid to admit what I do and don't know, okay? Or what I don't know. I'm not afraid to admit what I don't know. Like me learning more about college football, the more I get into, I've been more NFL because that's been my main thing for a long time.
Your Vols in NFL.
Yeah, exactly. That's
because you know Tennessee history. I know Tennessee. You know Tennessee as well as anybody.
Absolutely, but like
you know more than you're giving yourself credit for outside of that too.
But I guess the understanding of what Auburn is,
sure,
you know what I'm saying, or how crazy like Austin is for a football team, or Missouri. Missouri still new, I think, a lot of people in the SEC, too.
Yeah. Missouri doesn't feel like SEC football.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's still a little different.
It's still a little different. But, like, I didn't have a deeper understanding of what Auburn football was and how they acted and their expectations, too. Because, again, they're speaking about the buyout of Hugh Freeze, who I feel like a lot of that fan base was begging for him to come around and say, hey,
big time,
do the thing you did for other places here. And Jordan Hare.
And that was after they'd taken Lane Kiffin to the finish line, and he decided not to finish the race and come over there. Partly because of his daughters, as is told in the new E60 documentary that just came out.
That was true.
From Landry. Whit Weeks' girlfriend, I should say.
But yeah, Whit Weeks' girlfriend, who he beat.
That's true.
Who he beat. Who is another team that's got a lot on their plate as we speak with Brad Crawford about LSU this upcoming weekend.
Expectations of a program are always relative to what the pressure meter means in October, right? Auburn had playoff hopes this year. LSU certainly had national championship hopes this year. But those two teams have not become as dynamic on offense as their rosters on paper would suggest they should be.
Yeah.
So that's where you start. And especially with two offensive coaches and guys that are supposed to be able to have fun teams. Not just good teams, but good and fun. And LSU and Auburn have been neither.
It's that far. It's that part. Wow. It's that part. Because I was thinking of the F word. Fun. It's the part that I think a lot of teams are accepting, even if they lose big games. Like, how fun was it for you? I'm shocked at how the response was to Blake Shapen and Mississippi State after an overtime loss to the Vols. They hate Blake Shapen. I'm not sure if you got Mississippi State's algorithm. I did for a little bit, maybe because I was there and then picked up my location.
Fair enough.
But they hate what Blake Shapen is. And I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe he hate the offense for not evolving a little bit more than he is, but I thought he was tough. I thought he was a good quarterback. He's brought them more, I thought, notoriety than I remember them having with the explosive plays that they've had, too. So, I don't know. It's fascinating hearing the different SEC pockets get louder as I get deeper and deeper in college football.
Well, speaking of SEC players and buyouts, a team that has already bought out their coach has an alumnus who just got waived by the Tennessee Titans yesterday. How about that for a transition? Traylon Burks, no longer a part of the Tennessee Titans. The team officially waived him yesterday. It is over. The Traylon Burks era has come to an end in Nashville. We kind of already did our moratorium on this back in the offseason when he broke his collarbone, was put on the waived/injured list. And since he was not picked up, he reverted back to the Titans IR. Ian Rappaport jumped the gun and said on Monday that he had been made available to teams. That didn't really happen until yesterday. But his fractured collarbone during the Nissan Stadium practice was his final day playing football for the Titans. 27 games over 3 seasons, 53 catches for $699 and a touchdown. In 2022, his career best season was 33 catches for $444. Ramon, honestly, there's not really much else left to say about Traylon Burks, is there?
It ain't. And here's the other part. For a player to get put on injury reserve, and as soon as he gets healthy, you cut him, that tells you everything they think about him or what he's done so far as a pro, man. Like, usually teams will let it ride all the way out or something like that. But with him, it's like, all right, we'll cut you and put you on IR until you get healthy, which is how it usually goes. That's why I tell some young guys going into it, hey, you should probably get hurt and get a few extra paychecks before getting cut. His situation is exactly like that. I just can't believe that what we saw from him in college didn't even sniff much of it in the NFL ranks. And I mean at all. It's almost sad, but it's the other side of it.
It is sad.
Your pathway in this league is just written up a certain way.
I think it's absolutely sad.
Yeah.
It's a really sad story of a player that never met his potential, whether that be due to unfair expectations put on him, coaching changes, injuries, just bad luck. Overall, I mean, we could go down the list if we wanted to for a long time about the reasons why Treylon Burks never met his ceiling as a Tennessee Titan.
The one I want to ask you, and I have my own answer too, is do you think Vrabel just didn't like him or Treylon didn't do enough to make Vrabel like him also? Because I look at the John Robinson-Vrabel exchange on AJ. I think Vrabel loved AJ. If AJ could probably leave Philly right now, he probably would to come to New England. Which one do you think it more of? I'm going more, I think, Treylon, who can control his own fate, barring injuries, didn't make Vrabel like him enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It does feel like the body
I'm assuming
language
stuff too.
You are.
Yeah, I am.
I think the body language with Vrabel is always challenging because he never really looks like he loves anyone until a game's over and they've won.
That's true.
Or he's protecting his players in a moment after a football game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he was a Vrabel guy. We talk about that a lot, about how there were Vrabel guys and then there were just others. Mm-hmm. He was definitely in the others category just from a surface level, but we're not in that building all the time. Yeah. We don't really know without a shadow of a doubt the way those two related to each other. I just think he was always an athletic specimen whose hands and contested catch ability never matched his frame. Mm-hmm. He was a big physical receiver who did not play like a big physical receiver. And you might get away with that a little bit more in college when everyone is more open. It's harder to get away with that in the NFL when corners are just so much more physical, A, at the line, and B, they're just so much more athletic to keep up with you. Your windows to make catches are so much more are so much smaller. Yeah. And I think that was always the problem with Treylon. He lacked explosiveness to break away and get a whole lot of separation, but he also lacked the combat catch ability to make physical catches against really good corners in this league.
Yeah, I put a little bit more on Treylon on this situation right here, just because the situation is you're drafted as a first rounder. You go in and you make your own claim. Like I've always said, there's always a component of the game where players have to have a moment.
Yeah.
And
no doubt.
He never really established that one, even coming after the injuries and stuff like that. And maybe he just wasn't supposed to be here in Nashville. I mean, not even close to the fifth-year option for a guy like him as a first rounder.
No, it was never even a consideration.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, it's just another tale of first-round draft pick, not here on your squad, but the other side of it is this, too. I think you see as we speak about these changes that are being made with the front office right now, the type of players that they want. If you can't stay healthy, you will not be around.
That's correct.
That is me, again, assuming something, projecting. But on the field is what matters here.
615-737-1045 is our number. We're live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. Through 5 weeks of the NFL season, who is a fraud and who is for real? We'll tell you next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation. October is here, and so is the return of chilly air seeping into your home. Will came in this morning and said he felt like he needed some cloth on his arms.
I did.
Because it's getting chillier outside, not cold, but chillier. But if you got old stuck windows or cracked windows at home, you might need a jacket inside your home. Also, you can eliminate annoying drafts once and for all with their top quality replacement windows from Window Nation. Window Nation has some of the best replacement windows out there, and the cool thing is they always want to make it affordable for everybody, Will.
Well, and first of all, Ramon, you'll save money and energy when you're keeping outside air outside by replacing those windows with the Window Nation. And you'll also get this great deal this month. When you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 for free. There's no limit to how many you replace, and your total price includes 1-day installation. Plus, again, you could make no payments for 2 years. No monthly payments, no down payment, and no interest until 2027, which is a big deal with the holidays coming up. Check them out, windownation.com, or call them 866-90NATION, online at windownation.com. Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Might go down and see this guy today. A little Post Malone free concert on Broadway. Would I be a total idiot trying to get like a good spot for that?
It depends. Like, you want to be close, midway in the crowd?
I don't
or
need
you
to be super close.
Being in the building is cool.
I don't even think. I think it's outside his
outdoor.
bar, isn't it?
Oh.
Jackson, do you know?
Do not know, but you might want to go right now.
I know, literally. If I want a good spot, I would need to get there post haste.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Post haste. I hear what you're saying. He was too hot of a guy to show up an hour before. But I'm also of the mindset, like, how early is early to be there, too? Like, if it starts at 7, showing up at 3 is just
Starts
kinda,
at 8. It shows 8 to 9.
You thugging. Okay, now, this is also what you have to ask yourself, too, because I had this conversation with 3HL last week.
Okay.
Is he, like, acting like a rap star for a concert?
I don't
or
think
is he
so.
like country star, 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock? Because when you go to a rapper's concert,
Yeah. 8 o'clock means you'll be there till midnight.
like 8 o'clock means 11:30. Okay, like
Yeah.
is he showing
Yeah.
up at 8 at the latest 8:30?
It's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
He said on his Instagram the show's 8 to 9.
oh, well, if that's the case, yeah, I'll
It's not
try
too
to be
bad.
there by like 6:30.
I don't know. We'll see.
6:30 probably.
We'll see.
the case.
He is my favorite solo artist, and there's not a close second. I love Post Malone. Always
Posted.
have. I've loved every era of Post Malone. I've loved the country. I've loved the little bit more pop / I wouldn't say R&B. I'd say a little bit more just, I don't know. He has a very distinct sound. He's kind of himself.
He is kind of himself. He transitioned, boy, big time though.
Yes, he did.
And you have to do that at times. So I don't know, 6:30 the latest.
Everything I've heard about him, just real quick, and we'll talk NFL.
Let me hear.
He, just growing up where he did in Texas, didn't do the country thing just for a cash grab or just to diversify, just to do it. He legitimately just enjoys playing country music and just enjoys, like, he just always wanted to make a country album because that's what he listened to.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's being authentic
Yeah.
in just playing that kind of music. He's not just like switching just to
Man.
switch and get a new group of people. Like, I genuinely don't think Post does a whole lot for other people. I think he just does what he wants to do.
Country, it seems like, I will say this, but they don't at the same time. I guess it depends on how you get in. Country will gatekeep because, again, you mentioned questioning him. I know other artists have done country music too. Beyonce has done it. Big X is doing it right now. Who else has transitioned over to doing country? Heck, Bieber? No.
Nah, not really.
Like, music genres will gatekeep.
Well, country, I think a lot because we are protective over it, and I'll throw myself in this because I love country music, and it's just because the genre has changed so much, and so many people you feel like have used country just for a money grab, or just to sell more albums without really caring about the genre, the people in it, the fans. They just wanted to do something different because they were bored, and we don't really love that.
Morgan Wallen country?
Oh yeah.
But he's
country
one
as
of
it
the
gets.
ones I feel like that's transitioned what country sounds like.
He makes so much music that he just kind of does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like, he's got old school country music sounding stuff, and then he'll have a trap beat on a song and have Tate McRae on a song or have, whoever else. Like, he just kind of, because his albums are usually like 30 songs. When you have 30-song albums, you're bound to change up your sound a little bit.
That's a lot of albums.
But he also is one of the hottest artists in the world right now because his chart numbers are insane. Insane.
Look like UT's about to announce another stadium tour with, is it Luke Combs?
That's the report. Be a great show. Be a really good. I'm not the biggest Luke Combs fan, not because I don't like him, just because for whatever reason I have very specific country music people I listen to, and I don't know, I just never really totally got into him, but I would love to go to that show. I respect the heck out of him. I think he makes good music. I just, for whatever reason, don't listen to it.
Is Kenny Chesney still doing his stadium tours? I don't feel like I heard about it this past summer.
Yeah, I think so. I think he just did one either 2 years ago or last year.
Okay, I didn't know if he was still doing them, because I know the one in Pittsburgh had people going bananas.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about they pretty much almost wanted to ban him because it was,
people in the North love country to me, and it's so funny.
It was apparently the people from Buffalo that was making it that much worse. Like, I don't know how Buffalo, the city, got called out, but apparently like a bunch of their fans came down to see it, and it was like, yeah, you people can't come back.
Sure.
Yeah, crazy.
Who is a fraud and who is for real in the National Football League? We do this from time to time. We kind of let the season play out a little bit before we hit this first checkpoint. At this point of the year, you're a third of the way through it in NFL Week 6 out of an 18-week season. Who is better or worse than what their record suggests? I'll be honest, Ramon, this is more challenging, I think, this year than it ever has been before doing this.
Yeah.
Because you know who the elite teams are, I would say, and even though they both just lost over the weekend, which is part of the challenge in this, Buffalo in the AFC and Philadelphia in the NFC, you feel like are the two top contenders, despite the losses they both took at home this past weekend. But here's the thing. There are a lot of pretty good teams in the NFL this year. I think we don't have a ton of info to parse through who definitively is a fraud and who is for real, because you got a lot of 3-2 teams and a lot of 2-3 teams, and you've got Baltimore and Kansas City, who, if the NFL draft was tomorrow, would both have top 10 picks.
Which is crazy.
Which is pretty insane, to be honest with you.
And then that's, like you said, it's the group of really good. I'm so close to wanting to throw Seattle and Tampa in like the for real conversation. I feel like Tampa more than Seattle. But, like, both of those teams have almost everything that you're looking for. Like, Coach McDaniels up in Seattle seems to have McDonald.
Mike McDonald.
Seems to have it going in the right direction for them, too. Like, that matchup they had this past weekend between Baker and Sam Darnold was one of – that should have been talked about more. I feel like it was – no, it's played everywhere else, too. But that finish was good. Those two dudes went at it, man. Absolutely love what Sam Darnold's turned himself into even more so.
So who is a fraud through 6 weeks of the NFL season?
I got 2 frauds and 1 for real.
Okay.
My first fraud, Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
I know they're what is it? 2-1 is what they are. They're frauds because they're scoring 30.2 points a game. Dak is completing 70% of his passes at this point. I know they're without CeeDee Lamb and everything when it comes down to the offense, man. And Dak is doing, in my personal opinion, what he should be doing as a franchise quarterback. This guy, and the money shouldn't play a part in it, but he's got a 6 in front of his salary right now as far as the average goes. He's looking the part. The issue that they have is they can't stop a nosebleed with an entire roll of tissue, man. They're giving up 30.8 points a game. The one game they played against a really good competitive team, they end up tying. And I feel like as a franchise, you can't be emotional about who you're about to play because Micah Parsons is on the other side. All right? That's the issue that I have with what the Dallas Cowboys are, and considering me calling them a fraud. And not just that, too. You got, I don't think this is a me issue if I bring this up, but you got ownership that's flipping off Jets fans and getting fined $100,000.
Yeah, that whole thing was pretty weird, wasn't it? Because it does look like he's smiling at Cowboys fans. I don't even think it was Jets fans. And he said afterwards, he said, I was trying to give a thumbs up and I accidentally flipped the wrong gesture. How does that happen? Should you be managing an NFL team if your body cannot instinctively know the difference between a bird and a thumbs up?
Just own it.
It feels like that. Well, no, don't own the team if you're going to do stuff like that. Just own it, but not a football team.
But not a football team. Like, you shouldn't be, for an 0-4 team that they were at the time, be static and flipping off the crowd about winning against them. Now, I know that crowd gets crazy, but that to me signifies fraud. On top of everybody else they got left on their schedule at this point. They got Washington, got to go to Denver. They got Vegas. Like, they got a long list of people that they got to play. And I think it'll end up being the same old story for a team that's 2-1 right now. And like I said, the emotions of how they're winning and how they portray themselves, the Dallas Cowboys should be far and above that type of stuff. Like, emotional because Michael was there. That's the best game they played probably this century in a sense.
40-40 with the Green Bay Packers.
Was that not like the best game they played in this century? Like, that to me is what Jerry need to be telling to his team. That's the Cowboys standard. And that's why I got to call them frauds right there. They can't get up for games like this and not do it every single weekend or lose to the Chicago Bears.
I mean, George Pickens has been good. Mm-hmm. I think that trade has appeared to be worth it for an offense that has been dynamic, has been fun to watch. I mean, George Pickens has already tied his career high in single-season touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's got 5 touchdowns already this year in 5 games. Mm-hmm. In 2023, when he had 1,100 yards in Pittsburgh, he had 5 touchdowns. So that move has worked. That offense is dynamic, but boy, that defense is bad. Mm-hmm. They cannot stop anything. anything at all. So, I think Dallas is a fair one.
Yeah.
Who's your other one?
My other one, and it's only because they'll probably make a little run down the stretch, but it's Baltimore. And there's only one reason why they're frauds to me at this point. Not because I played against them in the AFC North. It has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Because you have inherent Ravens hate in your heart.
I respect the hell out of the Baltimore Ravens.
No, you do.
I do.
You are consistent on that.
I love what Lamar's transitioned himself into.
You're more of a Browns hater than you are Ravens hater.
It's loud and don't do anything like it again. But it's Baltimore for this specific reason. They're 32nd in points given up, the most atrocious Baltimore defense I've ever seen in my life. They're at the point right now where they're finally talking about getting rid of John Harbaugh.
Which is insane to me. You got 9 Pro Bowlers who were on the injury report just last week.
And that's the context of it, though, too.
What are we doing?
That is the context of them giving up that many points. But the Baltimore Ravens will probably get streaky at some point in time when Lamar gets back healthy. And I just got to say, that defense being what it is right now, Ray Lewis and Ed Reed probably are throwing stuff at the wall daily. I got to put frauds on them right now.
Fair enough. I mean, to me, a fraud is a team whose record is not an accurate representation of their overall quality as a team. And at 1-4, they're not fooling anybody.
They're not.
But I see what you mean, that even despite the injuries,
and they're
not coming back from this.
We were through the roof on what Baltimore should have been in the AFC.
Quite honestly, they're going to luck themselves into a draft pick that is not indicative of where they are as a franchise and be able to reload right away, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
It's just the way it goes. It is crazy to me that at this point, Ramon, can we talk about it? How Tony Pollard has more yards than Derrick Henry at this point of the season?
Are we serious?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm serious. I mean, I felt like that football got spiked a lot in week 1 when Derrick ran as well as he did against Buffalo. And we do a lot of the revisionist history about should they have gotten rid of Derrick or should they have tried to bring Derrick back? And we rehash something that's not relevant because I don't think Derrick wanted to be here anyway. And then now all of a sudden, this is why you got rid of Derrick Henry. It's because when the overall flow and quality of the offense isn't at a competent level, you don't really benefit from Derrick very much because then you're behind in games. Derrick's on the sideline because you're throwing it, or you need a back that can actually block out there and actually dynamically catch the ball in space and make guys miss with a bigger route tree. And you don't have leads to protect, and Derrick can't wear down a defense because you're losing so many times. You're wasting him. The Baltimore Ravens are wasting Derrick Henry, and that is not a statement I expected to make on October the 8th.
You know what's even crazier is a team like Houston got their lick back against him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did over the weekend. Houston rolled them.
They rolled and made Derrick look like a peewee running back, man.
For me, I think it's the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm sick of the Chargers. I'm sick of waiting on Justin Herbert to be this consistent elite quarterback. I think Justin Herbert had a lot better season last year than what he got credit for. Yeah. But their passing game annoys me. How are you throwing for 186 against the Giants and 181 against the Commanders? Those are not great defenses. He has been sacked 16 times this year. I know Rashawn Slater has the season-ending injury. Joe Alt now has the ankle injury where he's been out. So I know you're missing your top 2 tackles, but Justin, buddy, you're good enough to where that shouldn't totally ruin the flow of your entire offense. Now they're without a Marion Hampton in the run game. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh is kind of and Jim Harbaugh is a very good coach, but Jim Harbaugh offenses sometimes just frustrate me because I feel like a lot of times the Chargers offense is playing not to lose more so than it is actually playing to win. And I think they have a lot more potential for that. Losses back-to-back weeks to the Giants and Commanders. There's no shame in losing to Washington. I just think that I expected more from the Chargers based on the way they started the season, the way they beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Brazil, and to be quite honest with you, the way the Chiefs look this year, I'm not putting as much stock in that win because these are not your normal Chiefs to start the season. I think that is a Chiefs team with a window closing that we respect the logo on their helmet a lot more than we respect the actual team if they had any other logo on the side of their helmet. I just need to see a lot more from LA. So I hesitantly say, despite all of that at 3-2, they're still kind of fraudulent.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's to Justin Herbert. He's turning almost into Phillip Rivers in a sense. Phillip did everything you wanted him to except for the big games when you needed the big games or take you to the actual Super Bowl at that point. The hardball point you brought up, too, is very unique because of this, too. The Super Bowl game that he had in San Francisco. Feel like, to your point, you say you feel like he's trying not to lose games. He just coasts at times, I feel like. Or it's only so much beating up the opposing team that you can possibly do when you got to have something eccentric to your offense or be able to take away the football when you need it.
I think there's similarities to Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
You're always going to be good.
Always going to be
Your
good.
floor is going to be high. But sometimes watching those games feels like you're getting a root canal.
It is.
The 25th ranked offense and the 6th ranked defense of the NFL. That's just who they are. They're going to run the ball.
Yep.
They're going to have good line play. They're not going to beat themselves. But sometimes they're also not going to beat you if you go out and take a game from them.
I can see that.
Who is for real in the NFL through week 5?
I got one team on mine.
Okay.
And it was because of how they won on Monday night. It's New England.
Sunday night.
Sunday night, New England.
I thought you were going to say the Jags started on Monday night.
They lost a close one to Pittsburgh. Probably should have won that game. They go in Buffalo and beat Buffalo on Sunday Night Football also. Defensively, they've been sound. Offensively, they found a way with Drake May at this point, and they're about to hit a stretch in their schedule that is very advantageous to them. New Orleans, Tennessee, Cleveland, Atlanta. Their next big test is going to be at Tampa.
Yeah, that's November 9th. You're right. And then after that, they play the Jets, who they have to still play twice this season.
New England's fallen into, if Josh Allen doesn't fix himself again, New England's fallen into the Tom Brady era when they were winning the division every single time, and the East was owned by the Patriots. I'm not going that far, but that New England championship era, nobody was in the East with them. And right now, if Buffalo don't figure themselves out and stop Josh Allen from doing the stuff that he's doing, which we don't talk enough about, Josh Allen, I love him, but he does too much at times.
I'm not going to go that far saying they're on Buffalo's level yet, even though they did just go there and beat them.
Yeah.
You've got to sustain that more for an entire season.
It's new.
And Buffalo's turnovers in that game, that's not something they've been doing as consistently, but Josh Allen reverted back to his old self against New England on Sunday Night Football. The thing about New England that I think is really impressive, do people understand how well Drake May is playing right now?
They don't.
At 23 years of age, 113 for 153. He is completing 74% of his passes for 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1,200 yards. He's taken 17 sacks this year, but he's not turning the ball over a whole lot. He's got a game-winning drive already on his ledger. Stephon Diggs looks like a legitimate number 1, which I did not expect. And a lot of the offseason moves they made look to have worked. We haven't seen a lot of Travion Henderson at running back, which is a big talking point up there. Like, why are we not seeing more of him? Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson have been a part of that offense. Mike Vrabel has inherited another pretty good situation.
Yes.
And similarly to the way he took over a playoff team in Nashville, I know that's not a playoff team coming off of one season of Gerard Mayo, but the quarterback that he inherited looks like a legitimate star in the making in Drake May.
His biggest issues is his running backs won't stop fumbling. It's 5 between Ramondre Stevens and Antonio Gibson.
I'm not ready to say they're for real yet, but I see the vision.
You see the vision.
And I certainly see how well Drake May is playing. I think the Packers are for real. I think the Green Bay Packers still have the strangest result of the NFL season in the way they lost to Cleveland 13-10 on the road, but that's still a really good Browns defense that in their building on their day can sneak up and get you. They are balanced, Ramon, is the thing that I love about the Green Bay Packers. 9th in scoring offense, 11 in scoring defense. I think they can win a game in the 40s and in the teens. They've only turned it over twice this season. 6th in passing yards per attempt. They're not running it super well, which is a little bit of a red flag, 3.8 yards per attempt, but they're more dynamic in the passing game. They drafted a receiver in the first round this year, which is crazy, and they have Matthew Golden in the mix. They tied Dallas. They beat Detroit and Washington already this season. I like what the Packers have going on. The Cleveland loss is weird, but I still believe as Micah Parsons gets more comfortable and healthier, now as they come out of the bye, I think Green Bay might be the best team in football. It's hard to argue with what Philly has. It's hard to argue with Buffalo. Those 3 teams to me are right at the top. It's Buffalo, Philadelphia and Green Bay, then I think it's kind of everyone else for me personally at this point of the season. So I'm going Packers. I know more about them. They are more of a known commodity than the AFC South teams in Indy and in Jacksonville. In a lot of the kind of new contenders, Green Bay is just so consistent, and I think they are ready to take the next step and make a Super Bowl this year.
Niners on fraud watch now.
No, I don't think so at all.
Okay.
After what they just did on Thursday night to L.A. with all their backups in there,
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan's doing a great job with that team.
Solid in that defense, too. Some people better off as just lieutenants.
Yep.
That's what we're learning.
615-737-1045, our number. An athlete did something very dumb. One of the stupidest marketing campaigns I've ever seen from an athlete dropped yesterday. We'll talk about it next. Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour one on this Wednesday morning. Brad Crawford of 247 Sports talks college football with us coming up here in just about 10 minutes. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling, 615-737-1045. LeBron James did something really stupid this week, Ramon. He put on social media that he was going to have the Decision 2, which, of course, is in reference to his July 2010, which that was 15 years ago. It makes me feel kind of old.
Sports reference, right, usually?
Yes. Talking about the decision. I'm going to make a major announcement on my social media at noon Eastern on Tuesday. And he said, this fall, I'm going to be taking my talents to Hennessy VSOP.
That ain't what it was.
That is exactly what it was. He had the same wording and everything as when he announced he was leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers to go to the Miami Heat. People thought he was retiring, and the ticket market reflected that. Before his post, the least expensive ticket for the April 12th, 2026 game against the Utah Jazz at Staples Center, I'm not going to call it Crypto.com Arena, started at $82. After his post saying he was making a big announcement and the decision part 2, people thought he was retiring. Single tickets started at $580 for 2 tickets to the last Lakers home game of the year. The cheapest get-in price on the secondary market all of a sudden became $760. Unbelievable, the effect that LeBron James has on people, and the fact that he would do this to people and just make it about a new Hennessy brand that he is endorsing. What are we doing?
I blame people. I blame people. This is what happens when you idolize people a ton. And I love LeBron. I'll be honest with you. He was him from the time he ended up on the Sports Illustrated magazine, and he proved it to be that also. But what I have also noticed, too, is LeBron has a cult following of people that will absolutely love everything that he does, and I get that
without question.
Without question. If I had social media, I was probably been that way with Jordan back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was that way back then, I get it. I absolutely do. But LeBron baited people into something that was non-basketball at the time when basketball season is actually starting up. I actually did think the announcement part 2 was his announcement to it being his last ride.
I thought so too.
I think everybody.
He's 41 in December.
Hey, everybody's assuming this is going to happen. But again, this is one of them situations I blame people. I don't even blame LeBron at this point. He's out, like, how you know this to be true and, like, you should just probably enjoy it from home with a lot of this. He's playing golf now. Okay?
Yeah, he is.
He picked up golf at 40.
The PGA Tour is posting stuff of him all the time of like, oh, LeBron, one of us.
Yeah, like, it's on his way.
He's just like me, for real.
But, like, enjoy what it is. And I'm confused as to why he had to do the alcohol thing. But everybody's got a brand these days, though, too. He had Lobos, I think his tequila brand or whatever it was.
He's a big wine guy, too. He's always drinking wine.
Oh, my gosh. Big bottles,
Loves to post about drinking wine.
Expensive bottles.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, my gosh.
That's one thing, by the way. If you put a $2 Trader Joe's bottle of wine in front of me and like a really, 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 really nice bottle of wine, I'm not convinced I would know the difference.
I'm going to be real. I probably wouldn't either, but when they tell me it's good and I know it's an expensive bottle, like some Screaming Eagle, or whichever one it is, those are really good.
But if you blindfolded me, I don't know if I'm going to know the difference on stuff like that.
I wouldn't either. But here's the other thing, too. Hennessy. I'm not one of them anything is possible folks at all. I don't even like it in Coca-Cola. Yeah, anything is possible. Like Kanye made that a bigger thing at the time when he went on to MTV stage, whatever. But against Taylor Swift, that was super funny. But besides the point, I'd much rather Jack and Coke than like Hennessy and Coke. I can't do it.
If there's a positive in all of this, it's that the secondary ticket market and scalpers got.
They got paid.
No, I didn't. Well, I got
initially.
Fair enough. I guess if people were buying those tickets, I guess they did. Well, then never mind. That's the downside. You're right. I'm looking at that the wrong way. The downside of all this is that scalpers and secondary ticket people got paid. That is a uniquely American thing, by the way. Like StubHub and Ticketmaster and Vivid Seats, not as much of a thing abroad as it is here.
Is it not? I never paid attention to it like that.
It's technically illegal for British soccer. Like when I've gone there to go to soccer games, like I got a StubHub ticket to go see West Ham Bournemouth. Shout out to you if you even know who I'm talking about on Bournemouth's side. If you know who Bournemouth is, we're friends. Listening this early. And it was like a $25 StubHub ticket. And I was kind of nervous because like technically that's not allowed there.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have a membership, and then you buy a ticket with your membership to all these clubs.
I wish it wasn't like that here because it
I know.
we enjoy.
Makes it harder to go to games.
It does. Like, it's a decision.
It's capitalism, baby. Consistent.
I know. No, don't get me upset about that. Yeah.
Coming up, Brad Crawford of 247 Sports joins us. I think the wrong team is favored in the Red River Shootout this weekend. We've got Georgia going to Auburn, Oregon, and Indiana. How Tennessee makes the college football playoff, Vanderbilt's playoff chances, what they still could do. Brad Crawford of 247 Sports, one of our favorites, hits all of that and more with us coming up next.
7 o'clock on the dot. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. In Titans news yesterday, the team waived former first-round pick wide receiver Treylon Burks. Burks was originally waived by the team in August with an injury designation, but reverted back to the team's injured reserve list once he went unclaimed. Burks will become a free agent today if he is not claimed off of waivers. He ends his Titans tenure with 53 receptions for 699 yards and a touchdown over his 3 seasons with the team. In other NFL news, the Ravens trading edge Odafe Owe to the Los Angeles Chargers along with a 7th-round pick in exchange for safety Alohi Gilman and a 5th-round pick. Owe had 23 sacks in his 4+ seasons in Baltimore. For our foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Seven a.m. and hour 2 on Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee every hour, every morning. Presented by our very good friends at Scooters, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast with the 11-year NFL veteran and Vol Network analyst, Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined this morning by our very good friend Brad Crawford of 247 Sports, previewing a big weekend in college football. Brad, good morning. How are you?
Will, Ramon, good to see you guys, man.
Absolutely. Good morning, Brad.
Brad, I got to start with Red River because it feels to me like the wrong team is favored. John Mateer may or may not play in this football game. Texas is still very respected by Vegas, despite the fact that their offensive line is a sieve and their quarterback looks nothing like what we expected this year. What are your thoughts on Texas-Oklahoma to begin this college football weekend, Brad? And where are you at with your belief or lack thereof in the Texas Longhorns?
Yeah, I don't think Texas is going to be a college football playoff team this season. That went up in flames in Gainesville, and it's not so much Arch Manning. I know that's the popular narrative, but, Will, you mentioned it. The 4 new offensive linemen that they have not performed up to Texas standards, and to be honest with you, this elite defense that looked really good in the opener has not been as dominant the last 4 or 5 weeks as we thought it would with Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill there, the edge and star linebacker. So I think Saturday's game, the reason the Longhorns are favored is odds makers know something we don't about John Mateer. I don't think he's going to play. Brent Venables says he's not going to play. I know a lot of insiders say that he is. If he hasn't practiced maybe after today, then there's just no way he's going to play on that, repaired hand surgically. So that's probably the reason Texas, with Michael Hawkins at quarterback for the Sooners, is favored. But I am taking Texas in this game. I think Oklahoma is due for a loss. Part of the reason I didn't have the Sooners in my projected playoff the last couple of weeks is just because the remaining schedule is so brutal, and I think they're a defensive-dominated team right now.
It's interesting, Brad, because I'm with you. I'm not touching this one from an against the spread perspective because it feels like there are so many different ways that the game could go. How do you evaluate Oklahoma, though, just in terms of your preseason expectation of them and where they are at this point? I know the Mateer injury makes it a bit more challenging, but how well do you think Brent Venables has handled the pressure and handled the playoff expectations in Norman this season?
Yeah, I think Brent deciding to take over the defensive play calling and essentially be the defensive coordinator there was a shot in the arm for the Sooners. I mean, we know how well he performed at Clemson over that decade stretch, win a couple of natties with Dabo on defense, and Oklahoma improved on that side of the ball with a bunch of transfer portal additions, and they have looked elite, really one of the best defenses outside of Texas Tech in college football. And then John Mateer, they went all in on a transfer quarterback, sort of the way Auburn did, except it's worked out for Oklahoma and it hasn't for Auburn. So I think through 5 weeks, if you're a Sooners fan, this is the best possible scenario so far. And if Mateer can get back in the lineup, barring any unforeseen extended injuries, Oklahoma should be a team that challenges for a playoff spot later in the year.
We're joined by Brad Crawford at 247 this morning talking college ball. Brad, looking at this game this upcoming weekend, LSU versus South Carolina, you cover South Carolina very closely. I don't know how to call this one. I feel like there's a lot left of what South Carolina has with Lenore Sellers and how he can play ball, but also look at what LSU is as a football team, too, and say they aren't what I thought they were going to be. And what is Nussmeier's injury coming into this game? How do you view this matchup with the two teams that you watched?
We're going to find out a lot, Ramon, about Brian Kelly and if he can get this program back to respectability after that Ole Miss lost a couple weeks ago, where really I thought LSU got out-physicaled at the point of attack. And we don't say that much about Lane Kiffin's teams, but Ole Miss ran the ball just as well as they threw it that weekend, and that's part of the reason Ole Miss right now is my SEC favorite. And I just think LSU is a team. They're more talented than South Carolina across the board. I think Saturday night in Baton Rouge is a different animal entirely versus what LSU had to go, play on the road in Oxford. And I think this is a spot where Brian Kelly and the Tigers look good. The line's 9.5 points. I expect LSU to cover. Might not be a pretty game. I think I projected in my column 20-10 LSU because I just expect defense under Blake Baker that really gets after Lenore Sellers. And the biggest issue with the Gamecocks this season so far has not really been Sellers. It's just been pass protection, picking up yards in the run game, and then defensively the Gamecocks have taken a step back with those 5 draft picks no longer there.
In the world of buyouts and having to decide how much you're willing to give up front, I'm not sure what Shane Beamer's is, but he's also a coach that you mentioned, the offensive line play. There's already a coach that's been bought out. His name is Sam Pittman at Arkansas, who's known to be an offensive line guru. Is this something that Shane Beamer asked of the alum, or I guess the board, to allow him to go get a better offensive line coach to help protect his potential first-round draft pick or whoever's coming after Lenore Sellers if he goes to the NFL?
Yeah, I think without a doubt the Gamecocks are going to hire a new offensive line coach this offseason, may even hire a couple new offensive staffers outside of that position group. But for me, I think, Ramon, Sam Pittman is going to have, his pick of the litter in terms of jobs. I mean, Georgia may have an offensive line opening. Texas may have an offensive line opening in some of those top 5-ish programs. So if Sam Pittman wants to work in 2026, he's certainly going to have an opportunity at coaching one of these elite programs along the offensive front.
Brad Crawford of 247 Sports, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Georgia and Auburn is a really interesting game because, like you mentioned, Auburn is maybe not as unhealthy of a program as their record suggests, as their numbers suggest, because the quarterback position, they just got it wrong with Jackson Arnold this past offseason. And for all of Hugh Freeze's shortcomings against some bad teams, and he'll go lose to Brett Bielema, right, at the height of his powers at Ole Miss, he's also pretty good in a spot like this, at home against a really good team like he is against Georgia this weekend. How good of a chance do you give Auburn to pull off the upset under the lights on the Plains this weekend?
I give Auburn a pretty good chance at this because of multiple reasons. I mean, Hugh Freeze is pretty darn good after an open date as well. I know Kirby Smart's probably not happy that Auburn was off last weekend ahead of this really important game. And then second, I don't think Georgia has the offense, man, that can just run on the road and get a multi-touchdown lead. I mean, Auburn defensively has played pretty well. They looked good against Oklahoma, looked good against Texas A&M. Those are 2 unbeaten teams, but Auburn lost both of those games. If they have that same defensive effort they had against the Aggies and the Sooners against the Georgia Bulldogs, then they can probably win because the game's at home. If this game was between the hedges, I'd probably have a different pick, but Auburn plus the points does sound like the play in this game Saturday night.
It's amazing, Brad. I mean, and it's right, too, because, it's just so funny how Hugh Freeze teams do this. It's incredible. We talked about it a lot when he was hired at Auburn. What is it about his programs that just get up for games like this? Because it feels like in 2015, Ole Miss goes 10-3. They lose to Memphis that season, but they also have some incredible wins and are able to beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa that year. How do we process the Hugh Freeze era at Auburn? Because it feels like he's doing just well enough to stick around, but for a program and a fan base that is always going to have championship level expectations, and we need to beat Alabama level expectations, I don't feel like they're quite living up to that yet either.
No, I don't think they are either. And if Hugh Freeze doesn't win this game Saturday, then I think the tailspin sort of begins this season.
Right.
Probably not going to finish above 500 in SEC play. And, I mean, that was the goal coming into the year when you invest so much in this roster. Not only did they buy Jackson Arnold, I mean, Eric Singleton's one of the most expensive wide receivers from the portal, and he's a great player, but he's not getting thrown the football. You got Cam Coleman there. He'll likely lead the Plains if, the Hugh Freeze era goes belly up. So this is a huge spot for Hugh Freeze, not just Auburn, but for Freeze specifically Saturday night. I think he has to not only play well, but he has to beat Georgia to not only extend his tenure, but get some of those Auburn boosters back in his corner.
So, Brad, it feels like locally with us for Tennessee, it feels like Tennessee is going to have to win 2 out of 3 against Oklahoma at home, at Florida, and at Alabama to have a pretty good shot at the college football playoff. How confident are you in Tennessee's ability to be a playoff team based off of what you've seen and what's got to happen? What's got to improve for this Vols program to get back to a playoff for the second straight year?
Yeah, I had Tennessee in my projected playoff projection, man, this week for the first time this season. And part of that is because I think that the Big Ten now getting 3 teams in and not 4 with Penn State falling by the wayside, that's going to help out a team like a Tennessee, an Oklahoma, or Texas A&M, maybe vie for that 11 or 10 seed. And really, I came away thoroughly impressed with Tennessee after that loss to Georgia. Tennessee did everything in its own power to lose that game. I mean, I don't think Georgia won the game. I think Tennessee lost the game. Right. You had a chip shot field goal to win it. 4th and 6, allowed a conversion from Gunnar Stockton in the corner of the end zone. And the setting was set in that game. I mean, you had a sellout at Neyland Stadium, and Tennessee played well enough to win with that big lead in the first half. I think Joey Aguilar has been a great addition. He's playing at a far superior level than I thought he would coming over from UCLA and formerly of App State. So Josh Heupel, I think, still has the program humming. That comeback at Mississippi State was sort of a season saver, I think. And seeing Aguilar have that 2-minute drill to force overtime, I just came away impressed with the program and Josh Heupel. And I think Tennessee's a team that, as long as they don't stub their toe at Florida in November, I think they can make the playoffs.
No doubt. Speaking of Florida and Billy Napier, do we look at what their win was last week against Texas as just Texas is bad, and them going to College Station this upcoming weekend against A&M? Is that the reset that Billy Napier and his team was going to have, or are they actually this good?
If you're a Florida fan, then the worst thing that can happen is Florida go to College Station and beat the Aggies. Yep. That's probably going to extend Billy Napier, and here we go again a year from now when Florida's starting the season 2-4 in 2026. I mean, I think the Billy Napier tenure is pretty much over. I don't know if Saturday's win over Texas does anything for the Florida money that wants to see somebody new there. Kirk Cignetti, Eli Drinkwitz, Lane Kiffin, those have all been names that I've heard for potentially that job if it becomes vacant. But, I mean, Billy Napier has a shot here. I mean, he did this last season in November, beat 3 really good teams, Ole Miss, LSU, then won the bowl game against Tulane. So we'll see what happens in College Station, but I think Mike Elko's defense is really going to have a number on DJ Lagway. And like we keep saying, fellas, when you play on the road in the SEC, I mean, your game plan goes out the window when you get punched in the mouth early. And I just think Florida's a better team at home than they are on the road.
You're in the Carolinas, man. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Dabo, man. What is Clemson and their future moving forward?
Yeah, I thought you were going to go with old Bill Belichick there, Ramon, being in North Carolina. That's another animal entirely.
Different
man.
dumpster fire.
It is. You could touch on that one too, I guess, if you feel like it. Because Jordan, I saw a North Carolina reporter getting mad because I guess it was Getty Images had 50 images of the game, and about 33 was of Jordan. His girlfriend?
Oh, God.
Like, yeah, it's crazy.
You know what's funny? Bill Belichick has like 1,000 issues right now in Chapel Hill, and Jordan Hudson's like issue number 1,001. I mean, it's all football related right now. They don't seem to know how to recruit. I think the transfer portal punch Bill Belichick in the mouth. You've got quarterback play that's bad. Team's not tackling well. But anyway, getting back to Dabo Swinney, I think it was a get-right game last weekend in Chapel Hill. A lot more teams are going to beat them on the Tar Heels this season, but we're going to know more about Clemson the next 4 to 5 weeks to see if they can kind of salvage this season and not only finish top 25, but get one of the ACC's better bowls. This has still been a lackluster effort. I think the biggest surprise in college football for me is Clemson not being a playoff team despite having 3 to 4 first-round picks on defense. I'm just shocked right now that Dabo Swinney's program is in decline, and that's pretty clear.
Did he lose touch, or is it personal, like coaching staff? Because 3 to 4 first-rounders, that warrants at a minimum winning the ACC.
Right. He can still recruit, but I think since he lost Brent Venables to Oklahoma, something's changed there at Clemson. They don't take the field that same tenacity on defense. They're not, wreaking havoc on that side of the ball. And then Cade Klubnik, he's been their starter for 3 years and still hasn't won a big game yet. So at some point you have to get a difference maker back there like Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun Watson. When you have those kind of guys, your 8-4, 9-3 seasons all of a sudden go into 11-1, 12-1 type years.
Brad, what's your feeling on Alabama, Missouri this weekend? Because this matchup is so fascinating. I think if it was a night game, honestly, I'd probably have more faith in Missouri pulling off the upset, but kind of a sleepy 11 a.m. start, right? I mean, Ty Simpson and Bama, that offense looks like what we expected it to look like, a little bit more to start the season, but there's just something about Eli Drinkwitz and these transfer running backs that's just unbelievable the way that staff can pinpoint the best transfer back, and they got another one in Ahmad Hardy that people are starting to take notice of. What stands out to you about this matchup, and what's kind of your feeling on the way this one goes?
Yeah, they got quite a gem out of ULM, man, and what's funny is our evaluators at CBS, had Ahmad Hardy and Mekhi Hughes from Tulane as the top 2 transfer running backs. And Mekhi Hughes is going to redshirt and hadn't got but like 9 carries at Oregon this season. So
crazy.
To see what Hardy's done for Mizzou has been very impressive. My big worry for Missouri here is I know the Tigers are 5-0. They're coming off an open date. Eli Drinkwitz is one of the more underrated coaches in college football, but they've yet to face any sort of adversity this season. And if Bama gets the ball first and Ty Simpson goes 80 yards in 6 plays, what is Mizzou going to look like playing from behind? And that's the key for me. Missouri's a great football team on both sides of the ball, but they've played with the lead all year. So I don't know if Ahmad Hardy is going to be a guy who gets 25 to 30 carries if Bama's able to get up early in that game. So if I'm Kalen DeBoer and that Crimson Tide staff, I'm telling those guys, look, man, we're on the road and we have to start hot, because if Mizzou is the one who gets the early lead, then you're starting to worry if you're a Bama fan.
And Brad, last one for you on the local front with Vanderbilt. It felt to me like this was a classic case of a team that kind of drops in the rankings, despite the fact they kind of proved that what we thought they was correct on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. A couple red zone turnovers. They go toe-to-toe with Alabama. They couldn't run the ball as well in the second half, obviously, but that's easier said than done in that building as well. What are your expectations for Vandy now, and how has the beginning of the season reset what you believe this team can be? Because there's still a lot of people in this city that are hoping and thinking that Vandy has an outside shot still at making the college football playoff.
Boy, did I make some Alabama fans mad on Twitter this week when I said I would not drop Vanderbilt a single spot in the AP poll after watching Saturday's game.
Yes.
And I had a comment, man, saying, did you watch the same game I did? I said, well, yeah, Bama was toe-to-toe with Vanderbilt. I mean, it was a competitive 4-quarter game, and had it not been for Diego's 2 turnovers inside the 15-yard line, Vanderbilt might have won that game. So I think Vanderbilt's one of the top-tier teams in the SEC. They've shown that since week 1. I watched that blowout win over South Carolina closely, and Vanderbilt just dominated in all facets. And they've done that against multiple teams this season, not just the Gamecocks. So I think Vanderbilt's going to get 1 or 2 more ranked wins down the stretch, and it's a team that I think could certainly finish 9-3 and maybe get to the Gator Bowl or a decent SEC game. I don't see Vandy as a playoff team after losing that game against Alabama, but certainly I'm not selling on my stock on that program just yet, because when you have a quarterback as talented as Pavia and a defense playing the way it is, I don't know, man. Vanderbilt just doesn't look like the old doors. They are hitting very hard on defense and playing pretty well fundamentally.
No doubt.
Brad Crawford of 247 Sports, our guest this morning, talking college football. Great stuff, as always. You get him on Twitter at bcrawford247. Really appreciate the time, Brad. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Brad Crawford with us here this morning, talking some SEC football. Man, a Gator Bowl would be a terrific season for Vanderbilt.
Game? I mean, seriously.
Absolutely.
I mean, 9 wins. That's
Realistic.
That's living right.
How about this as where Vandy is this season? And this is a shock. As hard as that schedule looked on paper to start the year.
Yeah.
Their schedule now is way easier than we originally thought that it would be, which actually makes their path to a playoff tougher. Because originally we felt like Vandy could make the playoff at 9-3.
Right.
Because, and again, that was not seen as realistic on this show. It's become more realistic based on the way they've played. They've earned that right to reset those expectations. But at 3 losses, you're thinking, oh, they're getting a top 10 Texas, a top 10 LSU, maybe a top 15 to 20 Tennessee. South Carolina's a top 10 team. All of a sudden, they don't have as many premier opponents on that schedule to earn their way back up into the playoff conversation. Missouri maybe is a team that's better than their expectations were. Tennessee is definitely better than what I thought they were going to be this season so far. But that's incredible to me that their schedule has made it tougher for them to enter the playoff discussion and for them to get another signature win.
It is. SEC got a little intoxicated with some of these teams. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at you, South Carolina, Texas, Auburn. I did expect more, and maybe I'm foolish for thinking this. I expected more out of Kentucky for a little while, just to be more competitive.
Right.
Not a lot, but like better than what they've given.
Well, yeah, a lot of the teams that have exceeded their expectations aren't on Vandy's schedule.
No.
A&M appears to be better than what a lot of us thought. Ole Miss is better than what a lot of us thought. Mississippi State is much, much improved from last season. Really the only team relative to their expectations that looks better than we thought coming into the season on Vandy's schedule would be Tennessee or Missouri.
Yeah. No, not Auburn.
No, definitely not Auburn. 615-737-1045. Auburn can change the whole narrative, though, if they go win the Deep South Solidus rivalry on Saturday. That it would just be the most Auburn thing possible for them to go win that
I
game.
can't wait to see this one now.
Coming up, one of the more surprising moves in the NFL that you're going to see all season happened yesterday. We'll tell you what it is next.
Let's talk about your hair. If you're losing it and desire to have it back, then Advanced Hair Restoration has the easiest guaranteed solution. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results, man. It's I've seen it with my own eyes. And guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated doctors, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now. You can call them 629-348-HAIR. And if you qualify, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and they are the team.
That Lee Company specializes in projects that you just don't really. From routine repairs on outlets and switches to fixture upgrades and generator installations, Lee Company's award-winning electricians, they're going to get the job done right the first time. You can contact Lee Company for all your home electrical needs at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com to schedule with an experienced electrician. Trust the folks who have over 80 years of experience serving the Middle Tennessee community. Online at leecompany.com, or you can call them at 615-567-1000. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, hour number 2, and streaming live at 104.5 The Zone TV. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. We're fueled by Scooter's Coffee, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Yesterday in the AFC North, a rare interdivision trade involving a quarterback. Boy, Jake Browning's been so bad that the Cincinnati Bengals went out and got themselves a new thing. The Bengals turned to division rival Browns, acquiring Joe Flacco in a trade yesterday, since he received a 6th-round pick as well, while Cleveland landed a 5th-round pick. Man, the Cleveland Browns are obsessed with trades involving quarterbacks, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
How surprised were you seeing this happen and seeing the Browns hand the Bengals a lifeline?
Very surprised. It usually doesn't happen. It also probably lets you know what the Browns think of them, or they just wanted to fleece them again. Getting the 5th for Joe Flacco is insane to me.
Just moving up from the 6th to the 5th.
Yeah, I mean,
but they still had to give up a 6th, too.
Even still, I mean, that's value I didn't know Joe Flacco still had. It almost as if they're the poor supporting the poor in this situation. It's like, here you go, you broke boys. Like, take him. I didn't know Dylan Gabriel played that well. He was fine, and watching him a little bit in the game that he played overseas. But it's just more clarity for, I think, Cleveland of what they are. You don't need Joe Flacco getting hot and to where I feel like he may end up taking them out of the draft position that they should be in. I know the conversation is probably going to get loud on the number 2 quarterback there now, Shedeur Sanders, and his availability if Dylan Gabriel doesn't pop off a little bit more. But again, Cincinnati is at a point I feel like they're trying to salvage what they are as a team if Joe Burrow does come back. Jake Brown is not cutting it, and you at least got to go find a steady Eddie for a team that's got a good bit of weapons to utilize him. I honestly think this is probably a cry out from Jamar Chase and T. Higgins more than it is Cincinnati needing a whole lot of help too. They're wasting away in with what Jake Brown has presented.
I don't think we'll have many Titans fans wanting Jake Browning anymore. That was
Crazy
a popular sentiment at one point. Go get Jake Browning. I don't know if Jake Browning are going to be starting for anyone anytime soon. Dylan Gabriel is the Spencer Rattler of Will Levis's.
Say what?
Dylan Gabriel is the Spencer Rattler of Will Levis's.
Damn.
Placeholder quarterback until you are bad enough to draft your real franchise quarterback. Dylan Gabriel's not going to be a franchise QB.
No.
Spencer Rattler's not a franchise QB. It's these undersized project day 2 draft pick quarterbacks that show you just enough to want to believe in them, Will Levis, but have the skill set and just overall quality around them, Spencer Rattler, to not be in a position to succeed.
That's a great way of putting it right there.
Dylan Gabriel was 22 of 37 for 209, 3 touchdowns so far to start his young NFL career. Of course, made his first start against the Minnesota Vikings in London and fell 21-17 over the weekend. Didn't look bad. I mean, to be fair, it's way too early to just give up and say with certainty what Spencer Rattler and what Dylan Gabriel are going to be. Gabriel more so. Rattler, we kind of know what he is, but Cleveland was bad at the wrong time with the number 2 overall pick last year. And they did what I think they should have done with the trade they were offered from the Jacksonville Jaguars and with the quarterback options available to them and where they were picking, with no clear number 2 behind Cam Ward. They gave themselves more ammo to go get their guy in 2026. Like, there has never been a more replaced quarterback, one start into their NFL careers, than Dylan Gabriel.
So true.
I mean, truly, the guy's got no chance of being a long-term starting quarterback. Even if he is good this year, Ramon, what does good mean for Cleveland? They're 6-11.
Yeah.
They're 7-10. Maybe you earn yourself one more year. Maybe because Jacksonville is going to give you a pick probably in the teens or 20s and not in the top 10 like you expected. You're not in position to draft your guy either next year. It appears to be a deeper quarterback draft next year. But again, it's early. Too early to make a statement like that. I just think it's odd from the Browns' perspective to hand Cincinnati a life preserver.
It's probably, I think it's since he coming begging. Like, Jamar Chase has been upset.
And rightfully so.
And rightfully so. Everything that they've had, man, I say this, and I'm not tongue-in-cheek when I say this or making fun of them, but you feel bad for franchises that are trying to have all the answers before the season starts, and it always crumbles. Like, Joe Burrow made it to the opening game, right? And then here he is again out with another injury. This is almost 3-4 years in a row for a guy like him. They ended up paying Trey Hendrickson, getting him back into the fold. All right, you're set. And then you lose him again because of the failure to protect. All right, cool. Same situation goes to Cleveland, who's been in this situation time and time again.
This is what they do.
It's just what they do. And they got enough, to your point, capital to flex muscle when it comes down to the NFL draft next year. But how much flexing are you willing to do to sell out for a quarterback that may not work out for you again? Like, they've tried the free agency side of it. They've tried the draft part of it. Lord knows they've tried the drafting aspect of it too. They've went defensive generational players. They've checked every single box. I mean, they even had one of the best running backs in the league for a very long time and still couldn't get over the hump. I'm almost in a position where it feels like some teams just are what they're going to be historically, no matter what moves they make. And Cincinnati's trying to salvage this again. But I think Joe Flacco's going to get hot for them. Just because he can toss up a catchable football to where they can get down the field, because he is the DPI specialist. If you want to get a defensive pass interference, have Joe Flacco on your team throwing the football to good wide receivers.
Well, here's what I will give the Browns credit for. The early returns on their draft class in 2025, with, mind you, a traded back first-round selection from 2 to 5, an extra second, and they drafted 2 quarterbacks because they just wasted a pick on Shedeur Sanders, who I don't think has any future in Cleveland if they are going to draft a guy after Dylan Gabriel or just let Dylan Gabriel be the quarterback. Mason Graham looks decent.
Young interior D lineman.
Not a position where stats are really going to tell you much, but early returns are at least solid on Mason Graham. Carson Schlesinger, the inside linebacker from UCLA, has been everywhere. For him against Minnesota. Again, 12 sacks for him. He's got a couple QB hits, a couple TFLs. He has looked solid for a rookie linebacker. Quinshon Judkins, now that he's playing and practicing, 72 carries for 347, 9 catches for 62, 2 touchdowns. Looks like the guy they hoped he would. Harold Fannin has 173 yards and a touchdown to start the year. That's not bad for a third-round draft pick at tight end.
A crazy holding call in the London game, though.
Sure.
Just a young fella, but that's young guy stuff.
And Dylan Sampson has been solid. Already a touchdown catch for him, 12 catches for 83. Not jumping off the stat sheet, but again, for a later draft pick running back, has shown you some potential. I think the Browns draft class can be foundational for them to, with the additional draft capital they have in 26 now, be competent. And that's all you ask for in Cleveland right now. Can you just get back to competence? Right? I think Kevin Stefanski's still a good coach.
You say that too easy, Will.
They just have made so many big roster mistakes and roster building errors in the terms of Deshaun Watson. I mean, Deshaun Watson set them back years, truly years, in the way that offense operates.
What is he? And I'm pulling it up right now. What is Deshaun Watson done for them? When you look at like his stats there, how many starts has Deshaun Watson had?
Let's go see. Deshaun Watson for the Cleveland Browns, 3 years. He is 9-10 as a starter, 61% completion, 19 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. He's been sacked 70 times in 19 games, which is a significant amount of sacks, to say the least. It has a quarterback rating well below league average at 80.7. Multiple first-round picks and the first ever fully guaranteed quarterback contract in NFL history for an 80.7 quarterback rating.
People made this stereotype of him, or I guess this summary of him was like, what he did in Houston was fluff, meaning they played from behind a lot, the 5,000-yard season that he has, because teams was playing back because they were just making it out of the game. Like,
at the end there, they were not good around him.
There was a lot of that. And I guess you don't take him for that also. You take him for the skill set. And you've yet to see the skill set. Now, is it because of the personnel? Was it the coaches? Was it ownership? They've had premium picks defensively and offensively for years. Mm-hmm. That's why I laugh when you said just be competent again. Like, that's a hard ask when you talk about the history that they've shown when it comes down to managing their football team.
Well, and let's take it a step further in just managing the quarterback position. You can put together these good draft classes of good tight ends and inside linebackers and running backs, and you can get the non-premium positions right.
Yeah.
But at any level of the sport, if you consistently fumble the way you do at quarterback, none of it matters. And that's true in college. I mean, again, Jackson Arnold in Auburn, Jackson Arnold in Oklahoma. Maybe the Cleveland Browns shouldn't go get Jackson Arnold. Maybe that's the lesson. But, I mean, honestly, like any level of football, you can actually be competent at 90% of your positions. But if that last 10%, which is more than half of your overall competence as a franchise, which is the quarterback position, is wrong, who cares? You're never going to know.
To your point, they do feel like what this draft class is and some of the talent they still have, one good quarterback could turn them overnight.
I mean, truly, I don't think they are as incompetent as they used to be. I think they are generally a pretty well-run organization at this point. They just made one catastrophic mistake in trading for Deshaun Watson and giving him the contract they did, that they are just now coming out for the bottom of. Just now.
I laugh at that, though, just a little bit.
Because they're constantly chasing the next thing.
They are.
And meanwhile, they cut Baker Mayfield loose because he played injured his last year of his contract. And now Baker, I still think, is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
They can't settle.
615-737-1045 is our number. Speaking of quarterbacks, elevating programs that actually had some good players last year, but maybe you couldn't tell because of, Jackson Arnold. Everything that is being reported about John Mateer, the latest on the potential Heisman finalists' availability for the biggest game in college football this weekend, coming up next.
Synergex and Low T Center are the original MVPs of testosterone replacement therapy. What makes them the MVPs? Well, to start, they use pharmaceutical-grade testosterone to increase your testosterone to a level that is right just for you. Not for anybody else, for you specifically. Did you know that other clinics may compound the testosterone so that you don't even know what you're getting or how effective it will be? Synergex and Low T Center are the real experts that you can trust for quality care. Also, they are one of the only providers that accept major insurances too, just so you know. Other clinics and online services charge you sky-high prices for testing, labs, membership. It goes on. But Synergex and Low T Center make it affordable, easy for you to start your treatment, man. And it's easy for you, too. Synergex and Low T Center, they have clinics conveniently located around town. You have the power to choose if you want to be treated at the clinic or if you want to receive at-home treatment. Either way, it all starts with a simple and quick free test at the center. The on-site labs mean you get results in about 20 minutes. With the new mobile app, it's easier to meet with the provider through the app telehealth, too. You can have follow-up visits, medication reminders, and they even give you video tutorials in case you need a reminder on how to take the medicine, too. Again, here's what you got to do. Just imagine how much better you'll feel when you reignite your energy. Get back to feeling like you again. Book your appointment now at trtmvp.com. That's trtmvp.com. You'll be wishing you did it sooner. Honesty means everything when you're buying a vehicle. That's why I purchased my new Fords from Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford has real deals. And what do I mean by that? At Two Rivers Ford, the best price is clearly marked on their websites or window sticker. They handed me mine. I have it at the house right now, and it's exactly as they charged me. You don't need to fill out a form with your information to get the best price at all. You don't need to do anything. And unlike other dealers, Two Rivers Ford never adds accessories or service plans in order for you to get the best deal. And at Two Rivers Ford, the best clearly marked price is always available, always accessible, and always real. And if you want extra accessories or warranties, you can request that to purchase from them. Honestly, it's always the policy at Two Rivers Ford, which is why they're the South's most trusted Ford dealer. So for the best price and a real deal, get to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or visit them online at tworiversford.com. Or you can simply call their non-commissioned sales team at toll-free 800-900-1000. And make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Wrap it up hour 2 on Ramon and Will. We're fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Hit the podcast link if you miss any of the program. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, 1045thezone.com. I'm going to talk some Vols football in hour 3. Talk about how Tennessee makes the college football playoff for a second straight year, something we asked Austin Price yesterday and Brad Crawford just about 45 minutes ago. One of the teams they will have to go through to get there might be getting their quarterback back this weekend. Oklahoma announced that John Mateer was undergoing surgery for a broken bone in his right hand, and it was originally reported that the hope was he could be back for the Red River shootout, but the recovery process would be critical. Well, 14 days later, On3's Pete Nakos says he is pushing to play. Sources have told On3 that after surgery, John Mateer told players and his staff his goal was to play against Texas. On3's Chris Lowe and Pete Nakos spoke to sources throughout Tuesday, saying that Mateer has begun to lightly throw the ball and attended Monday's practice. The healing process has reportedly gone well, as Oklahoma could have hoped. Ramon, does John Mateer, 2.5 weeks from hand surgery on a broken bone in his right hand, have a legitimate shot of playing this weekend to you?
If he does, he's a lot tougher than I am in a sense. And also, he may not go under center, too. That's the other part of him having that type of issue. Myself, I shattered my thumb, and I had surgery in between games. I did play with it, I will say, but I had a huge cast on it. I got a picture out there of me playing with a cast, and I play offensive line. Like, I can kind of void how I use that digit in my finger. I had a plate and 4 screws in my thumb. If he had surgery, that means they stabilized his, I'd expect, or connected a ligament back in some type of way. That metal and bone, I don't know if it's healed, is what I'm telling him. And if he is throwing the football, at some point, somebody's going to try to hit that thing on his helmet. Somebody's going to try to put him on the ground and toss him where he's got a brace. Like, real-life events going to happen around this hand. I'm not sure how severe it is, but 2 weeks post-hand surgery for a quarterback is kind of risky. I'm not sure if this gamesmanship and I'm just trying to play around with Texas or whatever, but that's risky for a quarterback. I'm looking at the doggone injury sheet this week. Mm-hmm. If I see thumb or whatever for him, I got to have it.
John Mateer, as he works his way back, would give way to backup Michael Hawkins. Whit Neubauer, the other backup there, young guy. And Venables said this week, Brent Venables, the head coach, said, for Mateer to get the nod on Saturday, he will have to do some good on good, including throwing some pass skeleton, handing the ball off, and playing on third downs in practice. Josh Pate tweeted this yesterday that according to FanDuel Sportsbook sources to him, Texas would be -1.5 with Mateer playing. And without John Mateer playing, Texas would be a 5.5-point favorite. So John Mateer is worth 4 points in this game relative to Michael Hawkins. Interesting. I have no read on this game. I'm not touching this game against the spread for our Thursday 3 picks coming up tomorrow, which I will hopefully get off the schneid of my 0-9 last 3 weeks that I just cannot believe has happened because I've made some good picks. They've just gone wrong, and that's not my fault. Oklahoma's a really interesting team.
Yeah.
Texas is a really interesting team. I never want to underemphasize this time of year what desperation means to a college football team. We've seen it time and time again, Ramon. Yeah. Oklahoma is going to get Texas's best shot this week. Those meetings, those practices, every step of preparation that Texas takes towards Red River, they're going to do it with a little bit more focus, I think, after what they had happen last week in Gainesville. And really, Brad Crawford was right an hour ago. Arch Manning is a big problem. Mm-hmm. He is not the problem with Texas. That offensive line is the problem. Like, they have 5 stars and dudes that should be really good football players getting olayed by defensive lines week in and week out right now.
Well, we know what rivalry games are, right? Like, this is different for them, and I think that's why Mateer is threatening to play in this game. I don't know what Texas is. Without Mateer, I don't know what Oklahoma is except for a really good defense. The only pushback I have about Texas is That OU defense is tough. That D-line can make Arch look like he's playing middle school football again, is what I'm thinking as far as them being that good, especially if his offensive line is not holding up the way they should. You say you don't know how to pick them? I would pick Oklahoma. If it's +1,
I think so too.
I'm taking the +1. I like what I think Texas should do this weekend, but I don't trust it.
I just don't know if either team can really score all that much.
You talking about Texas?
I'm talking about both teams.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of points in this game. I mean, Texas is still good on defense. They're not outstanding, maybe as what we thought they would be, but Texas is still there are a lot of NFL players on that defense, and not knowing who's playing quarterback for Oklahoma is just a major question mark that I wouldn't touch this game from a betting perspective.
I might take
Not that I am anyway, considering my new role with the Titans.
Yeah, no, you can't bet and I can't either.
Exactly. We have to give that disclaimer anytime we talk about it. But again, too many questions in that game. I don't see Texas moving the ball very much against a nasty, and I mean that in the most positive way I can, nasty Oklahoma defensive front.
It is.
Texas can't block Sam Houston State. How are they going to block Oklahoma?
They won't at this point unless.
And I say that kind of sarcastically, but
I know, unless Arch grows the heck up. And I'm not fully blaming him, but
you're right.
To his point of not being able to settle and his underthrows and overthrows and
that's fair.
Inconsistency parts, maybe he's scared to be behind that offensive line. Texas is slated by the matchup predictor at 61% to win.
Because on paper, they are incredibly talented. They have no business being this bad. Neither does Clemson, neither does Penn State. And relative to their expectations, neither really does LSU. Because they've not really been great this year either. But at least they have not totally fallen off the wagon.
You know the most surprising thing to me about Texas, period, is Arch Manning's leading them in rushing yards after 5 or 6 games.
They can't block. The level of physicality in the Texas offensive line is startling how bad it is. Startling. It just makes no sense. Just makes no sense. Honestly, Ramon, this is why I think Kirby Smart and Nick Saban and coaches that can reload every year with new guys get so much credit and probably not enough credit, because Texas was the prime example this year of let's reload with guys who are going to be household names that you just haven't heard in your household yet. We got 5 stars and blue chips that have not played yet that are going to step in, and it's just going to look the same. Well, that's not a foregone conclusion in today's college football, as thin as rosters are. But if it was going to be a foregone conclusion for anyone, it was for Texas. Because they've got legitimate dudes that when you get off the bus, who's the name on the back of that jersey? What? That dude looks like everywhere. Everywhere. They've got blue chip players everywhere, and they are startlingly bad on the offensive line. Makes no sense. Truly makes no sense.
No way I would have thought UT Junior looked like this.
615-737-1045 is our number. The second half of the show coming up. The big Titans roster move of the day yesterday. So long, Traylon Burks. Our thoughts on it next.
8:03. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. In Titans news, yesterday the team waived former first-round pick wide receiver Traylon Burks. Burks was originally waived by the team in August with an injury designation, but reverted back to the team's injured reserve list once he went unclaimed. Burks will become a free agent today. If he is not claimed this time, he ends his Titans tenure with 53 receptions for 699 yards and 1 touchdown over his 3 seasons with the team. In the MLB, the Yankees kept their series alive last night with a 9-6 comeback win over the Blue Jays in New York, sparked by an Aaron Judge 3-run homer. Game 4 tomorrow in New York. First pitch at 6 p.m. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show in hour 3, getting started on Ramon and Will. We are fueled by Scooter's Coffee, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Coming up in 15 minutes, Tennessee's path to the college football playoff goes where? Where does Tennessee need to improve out of the bye week, starting with Arkansas this weekend in order to make a second straight CFP? We'll dive into that with Vol Network analyst Ramon Foster, who's in studio, myself, Will Bowling, Jackson Williams, filling in for Justin Hawkins, 615-737-1045, our number. So the Titans waived Traylon Burks yesterday, ending a very disappointing, injury-riddled era of Tennessee Titans football. A fractured collarbone early in training camp means that Traylon was waived with an injury designation at the time, reverting him to Tennessee's injured reserve, considering no one picked him up at the time. Yesterday's move makes Burks exempt from the NFL's standard rules for IR activation, and he will immediately be eligible to play for whichever new team he joins. He had the fractured collarbone, the latest setback for him. Burks missed all of last season with a torn ACL. He has appeared in 27 games over parts of 4 seasons with the Titans. Here's the thing about this, Ramon. We have talked about this at length. We've said goodbye to Traylon Burks back in the offseason. We knew this was coming. Let's look at this from a different perspective. Yes, no one in this organization who is there today was a part of drafting Traylon. Right. But what does this regime learn from that mistake? What went wrong, and what's the lesson we should take away from the Traylon Burks experience in Tennessee?
Don't go after blocking wide receivers in the first round. I think that was probably one of the more flagrant things, is the expectation that he was supposed to be this big-time run-blocking guy that was going to get aggressive yards. Like, no, you go after guys that make plays for you, that are your type, probably the size that you want them to be, too. Traylon was a bigger back, right? Bigger wide receiver when it comes down to his size and stature. The playmaker and where they come from and who was throwing to them and how they also got the football, I think, plays a part into it. Are these guys that pop up off film? Are these guys that just had high volume, that they were the only weapon on their team when you needed, when you watched their tape? Like, I felt like when we look at it in hindsight, that's what Traylon was to Arkansas. He was the number one that the quarterback KJ Jefferson continually threw the football to, and he made tough yards almost as if he was a tight end more than he was as a wide receiver. So I think you got to go for specific guys. Looking at Alec Ayumena and Chimere Dike, the 2 guys they drafted this year under this new regime. These guys are quick. These guys are shifty. These guys have had comeback catches, and they got something unique about their playing skills. I don't know if there was anything unique about Traylon other than him being big and tough.
Well, I think the way he was used was unique, because
here
I remember
college?
in college, I think the comp for him was Deebo Samuel.
The end around stuff.
The running the football, hey, he can play inside and outside. He is a big physical receiver who can run.
See,
right? Like that was the comparison of what the Titans hoped they were getting at the time was Deebo Samuel, who had just come out of South Carolina.
That you have in place where certain guys fit it, you do go that route. But to say this guy's exactly like this person, no, you can't live that life. Absolutely not. And the most unfortunate thing about Traylon was this too. The reputation that he had his rookie year being out of shape, whether that's because of asthma, because, hell, he just got drafted. Him and his boo thing was traveling, and this is all assumption on my end. I don't know. But what I'm saying is this, the seriousness to get prepared for the season, whether it was medical or whether it was personal, can't have that happen. The other part was Traylon got hurt doing football things in Minnesota, doing football things. Here in Nashville, doing football things. Like it sucked for him because all of his stuff was also not at the last part of the season. It was at the beginning part of the season. It's hard to play catch up in those moments when you hurt in training camp or you hurt the first 4 games of the season. He had no baseline.
No, I mean, I think from the film standpoint, and again, there are people way more qualified than me to make statements like this, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on receiver film and what works and what doesn't. But in hindsight, I think a lot of his big plays didn't include enough combat catches and fighting through contacts to make plays in college. And I think that showed up in the NFL consistently on deep balls. Traylon Burks was not making enough plays to go high point the football and beat a DB to go get it. He would wait for the ball to come to him and stretch his hands out instead of going up and getting the football and snatching it away.
Yeah.
So I think from a playing standpoint, that's number one. I mean, I think secondly, again, if you are a draft to develop organization, you don't make a habit of trading players away like A.J. Brown.
That's true.
And in the new regime and in the new way of thinking that Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi want this Titans organization to be, I don't think either of them would have made that trade. Because here's the thing about the A.J. Brown trade.
And also at his age, too, at A.J. Brown.
Right.
Super
was still
young.
very young. Like, I hesitate to say that was just a slam dunk, terrible decision, making the decision to trade him, but the timing and the plan B for A.J. Brown was what was wrong. Because good teams and competent franchises have traded away good receivers at their peak that they didn't want to pay. But those teams, A, maximized the trade value by not doing it on draft night, first and foremost, or B, had a good enough quarterback that could turn a new guy into whatever they just traded away. And Ryan Tannehill was a good quarterback at that point in his time as the Tennessee Titans QB1, but he was not Mahomes or Allen, who could get away with Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs being traded away and just make it work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's challenging. And Stephon Diggs, I know, went to Buffalo. I'm talking about them at a later date when they traded him away and then replaced it with Keon Coleman. Because Stephon Diggs Minnesota was the other example of that, right?
Yeah.
Trading away Stephon Diggs. Well, they replaced him with Justin Jefferson. You either have to have a quarterback that can turn a lesser receiver into a number one, or you've got to be confident that the guy you're replacing at receiver is an upgrade. Like Justin Jefferson was an upgrade on Stephon Diggs.
Saw it.
The Chiefs didn't upgrade on Tyreek Hill after they traded him away, but they've got a guy named Patrick Mahomes who's pretty good at this. So that's the lesson you learn. I know I'm not breaking any news. A lot of you are probably very tired of hearing about A.J. Brown and Traylon Burks again.
Though.
But I do think as this chapter comes to an end, it is a relevant conversation to say, all these years later, what did you learn? Why didn't it work? As you move forward, how do you proceed differently? The way you proceed differently, Ramon, is that the second you have a chance to pay one of your superstars, you pay them. You get ahead of it. You give yourself the best possible market price, and you keep that guy from being disgruntled enough to where they force a trade, and then when they force a trade, the ensuing offer you get for that player is less than what you could have gotten if their value was still higher in terms of asking for a new contract.
No doubt. A couple of things. Somebody mentioned Burks was injured in college. I don't think he had many injuries in college.
He wasn't as injured in college as he's been in the NFL. No. That's not totally accurate.
And then Mike in the chat asked what do we think about people saying the Titans ruined Traylon Burks? Here's the other part of it, though. To me, that's relative. I think that's a small conversation to have in such a short window that he provided the Titans to do anything. Sure. Like the catches that he made in Minnesota, I guess, that injured him was him being overstretched, whatever the case it may have been. Is that him, or is it the Titans put the football in a certain situation right there?
Yeah, I don't think the Titans ruined Traylon Burks.
And here's the other part, though, too. When the football comes his way and it hits the ground after touching his hands, that's a him problem. Again, as much as I like to pile on, the organization should, and I'm very pro-player.
Yeah.
Will, you know I've said this before, and I'll tell you guys again. I am all about the player owning his crap, too. The player has to own his, too.
For sure.
And
for sure,
if you show us a spark of what you are, there's room for you in the NFL. I don't know if Traylon, when given the opportunity, showed you a spark. He had one fall down touchdown in the end zone. And then the next game or the next play, whenever it was, he was out again. So that's just my take on that. It's the same way I feel about Levis. Levis showed you the spark, right? Against Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Then the ownership of himself took all of that fire away. Like, he showed you what he was capable of, why this team got behind him and surrounded him going into that year he was named starter and Tannehill was gone.
Yep.
But that falls on the players, though, too.
It does. It does. I mean, sparks get you in the door in the NFL.
They love that.
Everyone is talented enough to have a good day. What makes you a bona fide starter in this league is it's good months at a time. It's good seasons at a time where you can sustain that for a level of consistency that earns you another contract and keeps your team afloat. Like, a good day at the office just means that you were talented enough to get in the door of the National Football League. Coming up, what is Tennessee's path to a college football playoff this year? We'll get Ramon's first thoughts on Tennessee and Arkansas this weekend. What's got to improve for the Vols, or what's got to stay the same coming out of the bye week for them to be a playoff team once again? That's next. If you've been looking to relocate in Nashville and move into that dream neighborhood, there is a lot of risk involved, and maybe you're hesitant. You've been walking around the neighborhood, you see those for sale signs that are just collecting dust around the house, thinking, I don't want to take that risk because there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to find a place better. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you trust my friend Bernie Gallerani, he does guarantee to sell your home in 30 days or less. Yeah, it's that simple. It is as good as it sounds with my good friend Bernie Gallerani. He is the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee to sell your home, or he'll buy it. No risk to you. So if you're ready to sell your home, if you're thinking about relocating around Middle Tennessee, maybe you're outside the area listening this morning and you're thinking, I'm finally going to do it. Finally going to make that move to Nashville. Well, Bernie Gallerani is the only real estate agent that I would trust in this market. Get the 30-day guarantee and get the very best player on your team today. 615-428-2644 is his personal cell phone number. And look, if you got a real estate agent that's willing to give out his personal cell phone on the radio, you know they're pretty confident in their ability to help you. Bernie is absolutely that. He'll help you. He'll listen to your goals, your needs, and he's going to get that home sold in 30 days or less. 615-428-2644, the number. You can Google Bernie Gallerani Real Estate or head online to BernieGallerani.com. That's 615-428-2644, online at BernieGallerani.com.
It's Ramon Foster for Jewel Roofing and Exteriors, man. I'm happy to tell you about my friends at Jewel Roofing. One, their family trusted and owned in Middle Tennessee. They've been here serving from Clarksville to Murfreesboro for over 25 years. When I tell you they're family owned, man, they are run by their family. Owner Robbie Van Noren, I actually have a meeting with him today, man. Excited to see my guy. Live here in the mid-state, in Hendersonville, and they've been around here for a while, and they like to pour back into the people that pour into them, man. And here's the thing thing about them. They're honest. They're upfront about everything that you need or don't need when it comes to your roofing. They never use high-pressure tactics or door knocking or storm chasing. You know what I mean by the storm chasing, too. When a big storm comes in and you have one or two shingles off of houses in your neighborhood, these people just knock and just try to force you into submitting claims to your insurance so that they also get paid. But here's the thing about Robbie and his crew at Jewel Roofing. If you need something, they'll tell you. If you don't, they say, you know what, we'll see you later. Just call us when you have time then. Listen, for a company you can trust, call them 615-868-9999 or visit the website at jewelroofing.com. That's Jewel Roofing with 2 L's.com.
Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone, second half of the show, hour number 3, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. See, this is the era of Post Malone you like.
This is the era I fell in love with.
I love this stuff.
I ain't
so
telling
much,
you to
man.
let this ride, Jack, but let me hear the drop. There it is. That is. You just hit a little shoulder swing with that one.
This is where our musical taste overlaps for sure. Which we have a lot in common.
We do. You get a little ratchet with me. I get a little country with you.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying.
That's absolutely
That's
right.
how we just had.
That's why the show works.
We just had an off-air conversation just about that. That's why I end every week, man, with ELE. Everybody love everybody, man. I'm going to just get spiritual real quick. At the end of the day, love is all he asks if you believe.
That's right. Absolutely right.
And I'm done.
Amen.
I know we doing sports here.
Amen. So Tennessee is going to play Arkansas this Saturday. It will be at 3:15 Central on the SEC Network. That 3:15 SEC Network time slot has been very kind to Tennessee so far at this point. And they're going to play it again. Arkansas with Bobby Petrino, the head coach. No more Travis Williams, the defensive coordinator. As good a quarterback as Tennessee will have seen all season in Taylon Green coming to Knoxville this weekend. A legitimate number 1 wide receiver. There's a lot to dive into in this game, which is not a gimme because in the SEC, unless you're playing Kentucky at home, there's really not a gimme at all. In the Southeastern Conference. And even still, Kentucky can sneak up and get you a little bit, as close as they played Ole Miss earlier this year as well. I want to get into what Tennessee needs to do to be a playoff team in the long term. Like out of the bye week, Ramon, for you, where does Tennessee need to improve and be more consistent to be a playoff team? But I want to start short term first. As you look at this matchup against Arkansas, what stands out about where Arkansas can have some success against Tennessee and where do the Vols have advantages in this game?
I feel like it's the same thing they dealt with going into Mississippi State, unsure of what you're going to get. I think that's what Arkansas' biggest, I'm talking about knife in the ribs is what are they defensively now? They got an NFL experienced defensive line coach who also coached at Cincinnati, and I'm thinking about he was in my era also when Cincinnati was really good as a defensive line. If that's the case and within the scheme of what the defense is going to be post this bye week, they're going to stunt. Can Tennessee handle the movement up front? I told you yesterday they got a big old defensive lineman on their staff. This young man is about 6'7", 386. Will he actually be out there? Because the style of defense that Cincinnati played back in the day, and I say back in the day, the 2011 to 2015 was quick, fast, up front, moving around, running games, creating chaos. I'm not sure if Big Boy is going to be able to do that for this defense with the head coach that they have right now. Ian Jeffrey is his name, 6'5", 387. He was getting pushed. I'm talking about big pushed around, and I hope he stays out there. So is that part of it for me? You see, I love taking advantage of people, boy. But then offensively, this is short term and this is long term too. Every quarterback that I feel like they're going to face this year has the ability to run and pull the football. Can they stop him from extending downs? And third and fourth down situations have to get cleaned up by the Vols. They did a real good job of it. I felt like it some in the second half against Mississippi State. But their inability to consistency, stop a team on second down, stop them on third down, make them punt, is problematic for them as of late. That has to be their calling card moving forward, especially with getting David Hobbs back. It's been reported also with Jackson Moore being part of that fold too. I want to see that rotation be similar to a 23-22 rotation where you moving guys in and out and they stay fresh.
Totally.
That's been one of the biggest things I feel like for this squad.
I agree, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's kind of one of the things I think Tennessee's got to be as the playoff conversation gets a little bit hotter, is they have to be deeper up front in setting the edge and stopping the run. Yeah. Bryson Eason last season, this was from Brent Hubbs on VolQuest.com after the Mississippi State game. Bryson Eason has played 182 snaps against 3 Power 4 opponents. Last season against 10 Power 4 opponents, Ramon, he played 311. He is on pace to shatter the amount of snaps that he played last season. Does the return of David Hobbs with a healthier Jackson Moy not only give you 2 really good football players that make your defensive line better, does that also make your good players who have been playing better because they're more efficient and less stressed physically, less taxed by the time the fourth quarter comes around? I think that's as big of a deal for Tennessee as it is just getting those guys back. I think you get players playing at a higher level who have been playing because now they have more reinforcements, and Rondy Gardner can start to go 6, 7, 8, 9 deep on the defensive line the way he likes to.
And you're getting something this year that you didn't even sniff last year, and that's rushers off the edge.
You are. I mean, Tennessee had a first-round edge rusher last year and has gotten better on the pass rush this season.
What do you have,
time
5 last year? James Pierce Jr., 5 if I'm not mistaken, last year?
Something like that,
It wasn't over like 8. I know that much. And 8 for a college player is good.
The productivity did not match the overall ability.
Or the hype.
Yeah.
And respectfully, still in first round. So,
yeah, for sure.
But to your point about that rotation, getting guys healthy, like the biggest, if they can match that up, Will, the outside edge rush sacks that they're getting from guys like Josh Joseph is turning himself at this point, I think, at most a second-round pick right now, or minimum second round, like the way he's defending the run. If you can get that interior together, I absolutely love where they can be. And if also, too, Arion Carter, I think Austin and Hubs both mentioned that him dealing with a little bit of turf toe, getting him back healthy this week was huge. I'm hoping he can go to Miami and go party and stand up in the club on couches and stuff. My brother, you need to be having that toe in some cold water.
Tennessee's given up the second most touchdowns of any SEC defense this year, but it kind of goes back to what the 2022 defense had to go up against. As quickly as the offense is scoring and as much as the offense is putting the defense back out there and not sustaining as many possessions, you have to look at Tennessee's defensive play from a per-play standpoint. They are a big play, kind of explosive defense right now. The Tennessee defense is very risk-reward. For me, in order to make the college football playoff, they've got to be better on third downs to start. Per play, we'll start there. Tennessee this season is 6th in the SEC, allowing 4.8 yards per play. That, to me, is you're right, not good enough, because they're third worst in the SEC in yards allowed per game, 373 yards per game. Now, special teams set them up in bad positions against Mississippi State. But that's just not going to be good enough for this team in order to have success. I think you're putting too much stress on the offense. So the first thing Tennessee's got to do, I think the way you get that number back to where it should be is by being better on third downs and just getting off the field more. And Austin Price said this yesterday when we asked him the question, talking about what does Tennessee got to do to be a playoff team? They're 9th right now, Ramon, in SEC third down defense. You got to get closer to the top 5.
Yeah, you do.
Tennessee, so far this season, has allowed 35% conversions on third downs. That is happening because teams are running the ball well enough on early downs to put themselves in third and manageable. So when you ask the question, how do you get better on third down defense, besides just, hey, play better on third down, I think Tennessee's got to set the edge a lot better and has got to play better against the run. I've been a little disappointed in this defense and the way that it has fit some of the runs, giving up some explosive plays, but just on the edge, Ramon. Tennessee set the edge in the run game a lot better than it did last year, a lot better than it has this year. And that's a concern for me about this team, because then you get into matchups against quarterbacks like Ty Simpson next week, Taylon Green this week, John Mateer when he comes to town, Diego Pavia the last game of the season. You set quarterbacks like that up on third down and short, second down and short, because they're getting 6-7 yards on first down. That opens up your vulnerable secondary with Ty Redmond for them to take some shots. That's what Tennessee can't have happen, because I don't think this defense is playing at a playoff level today. It's got to improve as they get healthier in order to be a playoff team. They can't just sustain what they've been through the opening 6 weeks of the season.
No doubt about it. You mentioned setting the edge. I felt like earlier in the Mississippi State game, as far as Blake Shapen went, they did establish it against him.
The quarterback, they did.
Against the quarterback,
but not against Booth and Bothwell.
No, absolutely not. Now, going into the second half, mid-third quarter to fourth quarter, you should have saw Coach William Inge. I'm not sure if they caught him on camera.
I think they made some really good adjustments that I hope spark something in that second half.
And I thought the adjustment was there, which is what I think led to their ability to win in overtime, too, because they couldn't hit the edge, and they also were better up the middle against the run, too. It's to your point, that has been, I think, the kryptonite That has been where they hadn't won, because all I ever heard, too, about Josh Joseph and the guys that are still there right now is he sets the edge against the run well. And his linebacker fitting up, and the secondary got to play their part, too, and they have at some point, too.
Yeah.
Farouk, oh, my gosh. Every time Mike Keith mentioned him on the call, it's a big hit.
Idris Farouk, the first-year starting safety, who is he's an old-school box safety that'll just come up and knock your head off.
It's that part and not getting tricked down the field from time to time. Right. So it's fascinating. I see Mr. Keefe. I think he's a Vandy guy, but he champions UT stuff too in our chat on YouTube. You can check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. But what's crazy about him mentioning like the defense is supposed to be their best asset is Joey showed up.
Yeah, I think that's more about just the offense being so much better than it is the defense being that much worse.
I'll add this to it, though, too. I think Heupel's ability, and I know it's snake bitten Tim Banks and his defense numbers bad at times. I ain't going to say bad, but it's kind of challenged him a little bit at times with how he goes about stuff.
For sure.
I'm looking at, like, the ETSU game, UAB game, put them in a situation where you're trying to go down the field and do certain stuff or have them turn the football over. Special teams has put, I'm talking about the defense in a bad situation 3 times against Mississippi State,
and
man.
Joey interceptions have too.
And Boo Carter. I like all of these games have played into the Vols putting the defense in bad situations. The scoring fast component of this defense or this offense puts the defense on its heels in a worse way.
That's why they're still 6th in yards per play allowed this year, because based on how many plays they have to be out there for, they've been solid. Because Tennessee scored 40 points through the first 5 games of the season every single week.
The pace has been faster, but it's at times, too, where they know they can get a yard. They slow it down just a little bit. That has to be a little bit more balanced. But again, when you got Joey that's not afraid to just toss it, and Brazel, or whoever he chooses to throw to, and we're saying all of this, and I honestly thought this year this was going to be tight end city.
I thought so too.
We didn't
expect Chris Brazel to be a potential first-round pick at wide receiver.
And Heupel smart.
Yeah.
You got to keep going to him. Why would you stop?
No, I want more of him.
Yeah.
Can Tennessee help its defense a little bit by just running the ball better and just controlling some of the tempo of the game? Because against Georgia, they ran for 125, but 27 of that was on one Star Thomas run in the fourth quarter. Joey Aguilar had to throw it 36 times. And then against Mississippi State in a game going Intermode where we said Tennessee has a major line of scrimmage advantage that they should use, they didn't really show that. 25 carries for 131, or not 25 carries, 131 rushing yards. And again, 25 of it came on the last offensive play of the game, Deshaun Bishop's overtime run. Tennessee has to be better in the run game on both sides of the ball in order to be a playoff team.
Yeah, they do.
Because you are now going into matchups where you can't afford to be one-dimensional and allow defenses to pin their ears back, play coverage over the top, and say, we can beat you one-on-one in the box in the run game, so we're going to take away the deep passes to Brazel, to Staley, and to Matthews.
Yeah.
Alabama has the talent to do that to you in their building. Now, Alabama struggled to stop the run, but they made some adjustments as well in the second half against Vandy to fit that better. So
sure did.
I think that's where it begins for Tennessee. It's third down defense, and it starts with the run game in order for them to be a playoff team. They just got to get healthy on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a defense with this thin of a defensive line that we saw in Starkville
and young
and against Georgia, and with Ty Redmond playing legitimate every down starter snaps at corner, I don't think that defense is going to be good enough for Tennessee to make the playoff. The way it's currently looked.
Yeah.
I think if they fit the run better, I think if those linebackers get a little bit more downhill and they set the edge, maybe we're having a different conversation. But I think Tennessee's
hot. It's knowing that Florida's got a hot defense.
Playing.
I got a feeling that's going to be a night game and a swamp and the claps of the hand. Like, being able to handle those moments. To your point about the young freshman, Ty Redmond, if he could grow up quickly, that would be something that would be phenomenal for this team. Or if Jamont McCoy comes back. Austin, the only thing that got me optimistic about Jamont McCoy is Austin saying if he practices, he's going.
But he's got to practice.
And you know what?
He's not practicing.
The pro player part of me understands, one, if he's not healthy, then he shouldn't play. But his goal is to get to first round of the playoff. I mean, first round of the NFL. It sucks as a Vols fan.
The reporting out there hasn't really Nobody is saying that Jermod McCoy is sitting out just to be a pro player.
No, absolutely. And I don't
I know you're not
yeah.
saying that either, but that opinion is out there. There's really no truth to that.
No.
In fact, it seems like quite the opposite is happening, that Jermod is telling people he's playing this weekend.
His
but he's going to
teammates.
practice to play this weekend. I think Tennessee has a new training staff that is more cautious around putting injured players back out there than was previously the case.
Yeah.
Is the situation in Knoxville on that front. We'll see. Tennessee's got a more than solid chance of being a playoff team again, and I did not expect that, Ramon, coming into the season. I thought this was 8-4. Looking at it now, I think it's probably 9-3. But man, there's a lot on the table for this Vols team, considering the quarterback play they've had and the wide receivers stepping up the way they've had. This is not normal to be able to just reload this quickly with a quarterback that is still wearing a name tag in fall camp to introduce himself to his teammates. It's not normal how quickly Josh Heupel pieced this offense back together to improve with a guy that he just got in the building.
It's just Matt.
And a bunch of receivers who haven't played. Like, we're talking about Texas saying reloading hasn't happened with new faces, right?
Yeah.
Like, Tennessee had a lot of unproven, good on paper high school recruits that just hadn't done it at the college level who have stepped up. I mean, Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley we thought could be good, but we had major questions. You know, Ty Redmond, we didn't know what he was. He was solid as a freshman. Idris Farouk, you mentioned at safety. Yeah. Caleb Herring, we didn't know what the complimentary edge rusher piece was going to be to Josh Josephs. Elijah Campbell and Ethan. Like, you can go down the list of just unproven, like, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Jesse Perry, I don't know. More often than not, you're getting success stories of guys who have burst on the scene than the opposite.
Wendell Moy, guard. I don't know what that was.
It's worked out pretty well. I think Tennessee's front office has evaluated talent really well. For all the talk about how Josh Heupel needs a GM, and they're pretty good with their process at finding good football players. Pretty good at it. Don't take that for granted, Tennessee fans, how quickly you've reloaded with so many new faces.
Yeah.
The fact that we're having a how does Tennessee make the playoff discussion in October, considering what they lost, is a big testament to what Josh Heupel's done in a really short amount of time.
No doubt about it. Because that from what happened in April, it ain't supposed to look like this.
All that being said, the story of this team is yet to be written. And we'll look back in November and December and decide what Tennessee football was in 2025. At the very least, they put themselves in position to reach their goals and exceed a lot of their goals. But there's plenty of time to be better still than we think, or worse. There's still time for them to lose one they're not supposed to or win one they're not supposed to. They could go to Tuscaloosa and win next weekend. You'll be there.
I will be there.
615-737-1045. NFL headlines to wrap up hour 3 next. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour 3. Rhett Bryan on deck for the fourth quarter of your Wednesday morning. 615-737-1045. A couple minutes for you to get in. The Cardinals head coach, Jonathan Gannon, got fined $100,000. Ramon called it, talking about you didn't like putting his hands on a player. Well, neither did the league office. As Cardinals running back Amari DeMarcado's dropping of the ball that allowed the Titans to get back in the game, come back and, of course, win, cost Jonathan Gannon $100,000. Per multiple reports, that's the fine the Cardinals have imposed, actually, not the league office. The Cardinals imposed this fine on their head coach for his interaction with DeMarcado. He made contact with DeMarcado at least twice, was in the player's face, and as Pro Football Talk writes, was like an overly caffeinated drill sergeant. He told reporters Monday he apologized to DeMarcado and the team.
Like the little love taps, he'd kept it tight. You know what I'm saying? Would have been appropriate. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like a little fist pump in the chest. And I get that. I saw a lot of people like, man, what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to publicly shame him. And he's holding him accountable in front of everybody. Like, okay, y'all say that. But like the way he hit that grown man was a bit too far for how I know the locker room is.
Yeah, not great.
And it was the walk-off slap that I think did it the most.
Sure.
The initial one wasn't bad. But the walk-off slap and how he went about it.
Parting blow, if you will.
Yeah, it was the parting blow. That one was a bit too much on that one. I know a lot of guys who have been in locker rooms that would have turned it on coach. Sure. That could have got ugly for him.
Yeah, it's not great.
$100,000 though? Ooh.
Yes, that's a good little chunk of change.
Christmas is different with $100,000 gone, Will.
Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley confirmed they held a players-only meeting along with A.J. Brown on Monday, the first one-loss team in history, I imagine, to ever have a players-only meeting. The quarterback and running back, Hurts and Barkley, downplayed it as, quote, just teammates being teammates, saying, yeah, that's just us talking about the collective, talking about taking ownership for what we can, talking about how we move forward as a team so we can continue to find ways to win games. It was Jimmy Kempski of the Philly Voice who reported that Hurts, Brown, and Barkley met among themselves for 2 hours to discuss offensive frustrations after they lost 21-17 to the Denver Broncos at home. A.J. Brown has 19 catches for 194 and a touchdown. Barkley only got 6 carries for 30 yards against the Denver Broncos. Did you see what Brian Dable did yesterday?
Oh, I missed it.
He was doing his introductory press conference for the week about the Philadelphia Eagles, because Giants and Eagles play this weekend. Yeah. He trolled. You know what he said?
No.
He said, yeah, you watch the film. A.J. Brown is always open. He's open a lot. Because that's a really smart play by Dable. Not only are you hyping up the opponent in a way that coaches always do when they start a new week at a press conference, you are also feeding A.J. Brown to be like, you know what? I am open all the time. To listen to the Green Goblin mask that's yelling at him, like, you are open.
You are open. I
Do
love
it.
that.
Be a diva.
For 1-14, what he got to lose, man? That's a bus ride down to Philly for him. Good. What is... You know what's fascinating? I had this conversation about why A.J. Brown is frustrated. Things change after you get the ring. Things change after you get the ring and the check. And I get where A.J.'s coming from, but here's the thing. Their offense is through the legs and arm, when he chooses to throw it, of Jalen Hurts. You know A.J.'s biggest frustration? A.J.'s thinking gold jacket.
And you're 100% right. Once you get the ring, it's like, all right, well, now I got to worry about me. Because now I've done the team thing.
I did this.
I checked this box. I've got the ring. And it's not to say that guys don't want rings anymore, but maybe in the immediate aftermath, you are more heavily emphasizing, at least some players are wired in the way of like, all right, now let me go get mine. Let me get personal accolades.
No doubt. It's two ways this happens. Either you get the ring and you chasing the numbers now, or you settled into a team.
You have the numbers, and then you go get the ring.
Yeah, or you settle into a team and you're a lifer, like AB. And AB was like, I got to have it. I got to get it. I got to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one or two happens with receivers. AJ is gold jacket chasing now.
He is, no doubt. As he should be.
As he should be.
It's funny to me.
I can't believe. You know what's crazy from my perspective as an offensive lineman?
Yep.
We don't worry about this.
No, nor should you.
Did we win? It's hard for me to wrap my head around some of this type of stuff, though, because my mindset is, man, we won. I've seen us win certain games, some games that are hard by like 20 points, and the receiver or a running back might get 50 yards,
Sure.
and they're upset. It never registered to me.
Diva receivers win games, but sometimes they cause you some headaches in the process.
They're worth it at times.
No, definitely.
Most definitely.
Definitely. I mean, you'd rather have A.J. Brown and deal with all this than not have him. But, woof, that offense is not fun to watch right now
They're 4-1
in Philly. I know.
That's all I worry about. They're 4-1, man.
Coming up, we preview Week 6 for the Tennessee Titans as we head to Vegas, the Roomba in the desert, our first trip to Allegiant Stadium. Rhett Bryan breaks down the matchup with us coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. It's important to give you all the services that they do too, man, because they can fix your plumbing issue, HVAC, or if you got a small electrical emergency. They were at my house a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, man, helping me with my cameras on the outside of the house. They do a lot of everything, but here's the best part about them, man. When you call them, it's going to get fixed right, and it's not going to be somebody trying to sell you something you do not need, man. They're experts. They solve your problems quickly. Here's the thing about the experts, man. They're techs. They're very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and they're all background and drug screened, too. When they're on their way, y'all know how it is waiting around for people to show up, man, but you'll receive a photo of the tech, which is a great security situation right there. You know who's coming to your house, and a link to track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting time for somebody to show up. The motto is, and it's always been, happy you'll be or the service is free. If there is an issue with your home and you're upset with it or they didn't fix it right, they'll either give you your money back or they'll fix it for you. It's just that simple. That's why they've been in business for over 35 years, and they take pride in it because they're family owned and operated too. To learn more about Hiller, to book with them like I do, simply visit their website at happyhiller.com. It's Ramon Foster for All-American Pest Control, man. Fall in Middle Tennessee, cooler weather, football, family time. Listen to me, I love it. There is no better time of the year than fall. But you know who else loved this season? Pests, stink bugs, Asian lady beetles, mice, even termites. They don't slow down because it's just fall. No, that's why I trust All American Pest Control. Their Complete Care Max program provides maximum protection season after season with one simple plan, man. It's a peace of mind every time. Call All American Pest Control or visit their website at yuckbugs.com. That's yuckbugs.com. And make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
9:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. In Titans news yesterday, the team waived former first-round pick wide receiver Traylon Burks. Burks was originally waived by the team in August with an injury designation, but reverted back to the team's injured reserve once he went unclaimed. Burks will become a free agent today. If he is not claimed, he ends his Titans tenure with 53 receptions for 699 yards and 1 touchdown over his 3 seasons with the club. A trade in the NFL is the Browns send quarterback Joe Flacco and a 6th rounder to the Bengals in exchange for a 5th. Flacco started the Browns' first 4 games of the season, going 1-3 as a starter, throwing for 815 yards with 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the 4th and final hour of the show. 4th quarter of Ramon and Will starts right now. And as always, we're fueled by Scooter's Coffee, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. 11-year NFL veteran and Vol Network analyst Ramon Foster is in the building.
Yeah.
Jackson Williams is filling in for Justin Hawkins at the controls. I'm Will Bowling, joined by Rhett Bryan, the executive producer of Titans Radio, Titans and Raiders, this weekend in the desert. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. I didn't expect you to go all Raiders.
Feeling good. I got the signature blend of Scooters caffeinating
The autumn
me.
wind is a Raider.
That's exactly right. I'm not going to do that many more times because my voice is very
you need to
fragile and will leave me. But
By the way, real quick, speaking of people leaving you, just to cut in just real quick.
Go.
Like you mentioned Jackson with us. We ain't heard a peep from Jayhawk, okay? Not even a text.
No.
He's on good
out.
vacay.
He untethered. He disconnected, and he'll reconnect later. He's out.
You know what I'm going to take in that? He believes enough in us to where he feels like he doesn't need to micromanage
And
from
that
afar.
is the right approach.
That's absolutely,
because
Justin, thank you.
He absolutely believes that. Also, he was a little toasty burnt, and not because of y'all, but he just ready to disconnect.
He needed to disconnect. He needed it too. He served his 90-day probation.
Yeah.
Him and the rest of Sumner County, Williams County.
Rutherford
break
County
time already?
Yeah, it's fall break right now.
It's fall break
fast.
season.
Yes,
Goodness.
it is.
Okay.
I just wanted to point that out real quick. You said Jackson's with
We're
us.
glad he's getting some time off.
Rhett. I'm talking about cobwebs around this building right now where he was.
I like it. So the Titans and Raiders are going to play this weekend. The Titans coming off of a victory on Sunday in Phoenix. Rhett, you've been a part of a lot of Titans broadcasts, and you've seen the ball bounce in some interesting ways. That's got to be near the weirdest for you, right? In terms of the way this game went and some of the things that might happen once a year that happen like 3 or 4 different instances in just the 4th quarter.
So I thought about that on the ride home, which was fun, by the way. Did he tell you the story about Jihad Ward?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. I told him in all my years on being on a charter flight, I ain't seen no.
Took the flight information card as a slide, and on the ascent went zoop, and high five. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's one way to celebrate.
I'm telling you, the plane, that's all the stuff you miss is the planes or the
Playing after a win.
The friendly betting and conversations that are so dumb. And they're even better after wins.
Oh, yeah.
They're even better after wins.
But
So funny.
obviously, the way the Music City Miracle game ended, that's huge. One of the wins over the Arizona Cardinals back in 2009 when VY was just drawing stuff up in the dirt and went 18 plays, 99 yards, hits Kenny Britt with no time left. But this one had so many things, and it was really in the last 8 minutes and 45 seconds of that game. So for 3.5 quarters, it was something. Like defense allowed 21 points. Then they tightened everything down, or tightened up in this case.
There you go.
And, they're shooting off all their fingers and toes and can't get out of their own way. And it's just wild to see. And then the Amari DiMercado run that wasn't.
Yeah.
It was a tipping point because I'm about 99% certain if that's a score there, it's 28-6. I don't think we're having this conversation.
I agree.
And then with everything that happened, when they get down into the red zone after they got the ball and Cam throws a pick and then that is fumbled and Tyler Lockett has the presence of mind, being the pro that he is, to jump on it and here, so it is unique in its own set of things, of events that happen. But I'm going to tell you right now, and Calvin Ridley, whoa, what a game. And that catch, that was it a 47-yarder?
38.
38. Oh, yeah, that
45 and 38 yard catch in this game.
That one, whoa. And there are a lot of people that deserve credit in that win because it took you all three phases. But those dang Titans tight ends from 8:45 left on, and it ain't just Gunnar Helm. Chig Okonkwo, huge in that. Had 4 for 48, 3 for 42 of that 4 for 48 came on those last couple of drives and were for crucial first downs to keep things going. And a couple of them tackled and then yak yards after to get a first down. It was impressive. It really was. And I hope that this is a spark that can carry over because, guys, a back-to-back win for the Titans, it's been a minute.
It's been since 2022.
Next month, 3 years ago. Is that wild?
It is.
Shouldn't have those.
35 months.
Yeah.
But it speaks to, where the franchise has been through the wilderness after those points. But that's a chance to start to rewrite some history with whatever the rest of the season looks like after this weekend for the Titans. You have a chance because, and listen, none of these are easy. Look at how they had to scrap and fight against the Cardinals. The Raiders have their own woes, but we got to go in their place. We got to, the biggest thing that the Titans have to do is play a full football game.
Right.
That's what this is. Play a full football game as mistake-free as possible. Take that last 8:45 and let's do 60 minutes worth of that. You do that and you'll win.
Yep.
And that's the biggest test coming off of a dub like that. One, all right, you got the monkey off your back. Whew, you can breathe. Can you, the good, and what winning does for you too, it shows you the good that you are and the process that you did to get to that point. The fact that it was late in the second half where you got it going in that fashion, the offense. You mentioned the tight ends. I thought the tight ends were part of the game plan that worked themselves in, that showed you, put the ball in my hand and let me go to work. Oh, Gunnar Helm's in the red zone. You can trust me here. Like having them be more in the field. And I think the mindset everybody had was Calvin got to get going. Sometimes others have to get going to get them going too. Get Calvin going also. Will that be a part of this week's game plan going to Las Vegas? Is, all right, Chig, all right, Gunnar, let's go. Tempo that the offense ran with. The defense has already shown what it's capable of. You got the support if you don't get points, right? That's where I'm wondering, will that continuation happen, which is why a dub is so big for anybody in this league.
Couple things based on your comments right there. One, there's also some really good news moving forward in this. There's a chance that J.C. Latham's back at right tackle.
This week.
There's a chance.
That's the hope.
Kevin Winston Jr. got his first snaps in a regular season ballgame, even though it was on special teams. I think he had 23 snaps in 4 phases of that. Working him in more and more. Tajay Spears is back. I think they'll ramp up his involvement this week. So those are all good things. Going back to Calvin Ridley, I did a hit in another market, radio hit, not a hit.
Brett's hitting people.
No, we're not doing any of that. But I did a radio visit with WNML in Knoxville this morning. And they were like, what do you think was different about the whole dynamic between Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley? And I've had this thought for a while that whip motion that Cam has, you cannot emulate that in practice. You cannot emulate it in a preseason game. When the adrenaline's going, there's probably a little extra on that thing.
Yeah.
And I think what we saw was Calvin finally calibrating with Cam.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those would just power through his fingertips in previous games. And that's something because Calvin's a very good catcher. He's an excellent route runner. I think they've had some time, and we're going to find out for sure on Sunday.
Yeah.
If Calvin starts rolling again, then I'm like, okay, I think that is synced now.
Sure.
I really believe there's something to that.
I do too. And plus the glasses he's been wearing to practice. Have you seen those from Tyke Tolbert that he designed? Teron Davenport's talked with Tyke Tolbert about this. He's been wearing these blacked out glasses that have little holes in the top corner, like close to your nose in the top corner, to wear and catch footballs that force you to have a clouded vision or a blurry vision of the football because you can only see out of the top corner of the glasses to try to simulate how to catch the football when you can't clearly see the football. I thought that was interesting a couple weeks
That sounds like a prisoner of war, like torture device.
That's what I'm saying.
It's wild.
The drunk
But
goggles.
to make, right. That's the first thing I thought when he was describing the concentration you have to have to wear that device.
You're about to get hit in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
At some point.
And hope you're wearing a helmet with some kind of a face mask that'll at least keep your choppers intact.
Sure. Rhett Bryant in studio with us talking Titans and Raiders. Coming up, our breakdown of the matchup. There is one player on offense the Titans just have to stop in order to have success. Plus, there was a big position battle on the offensive line that Pete Carroll might have gotten wrong that I think the Titans can benefit from on Sundays. They take on the Las Vegas Raiders. With Rhett Bryant in studio, we'll talk Titans and Raiders more. Raiders coming up next. Hour 4, fourth quarter of Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Hope you're having a great morning on a gloomy, brisk morning.
Do you know who that is right there without looking at the screen? Don't look at the screen.
I already saw it. I'm sorry.
Damn it. That is the only charted record of the Grateful Dead that charted on Billboard or any of those. Because, they were always, they're a jam band and have a massive following. They really are one of the first, generation festival bands, jam band kind of thing. And Touch of Grey came out when I was in high school.
Nice.
I think they might have even won a Grammy for that, but that was their only charted record.
Grateful Dead.
Jerry Garcia.
Such a big following, though. They only had that.
Deadheads.
Deadheads. And that was the other thing that was unique about them is they had Deadheads that were also tape heads. They would allow you to tape their concerts.
Get out.
And so there's, a lot of those. I think there's even channels on like Sirius XM that play a lot of those archived things that, fans have put into the pile or whatever.
Sure.
They were very different from mainstream, and that's why it's ironic that Jackson would use that as bump music back, because that was their mainstream modern day hit. That was it.
Did not know
Touch
that.
of Grey.
Wow.
Yeah.
So week 6 brings the Titans to Vegas. First trip to Allegiant Stadium, and
The first ever.
Ashton Genty is the problem the Titans have got to solve in this game. Geno Smith, 6 touchdowns, 9 picks, 65% completion, a passer rating of 75.6.
Been sacked 16 times.
That's right.
Leads the NFL with those 9 picks, too.
He does. The run game is the problem. Ashton Genty totaled 109 yards from scrimmage last time out against the Colts, 67 rushing, 42 receiving on 19 touches. In week 4, however, against the Chicago Bears, a 25-24 defeat, Ashton Genty forced 9 missed tackles and had 123 yards after contact just in week 4 alone. The issues the Titans have had in the second halves of games, missing tackles, cannot happen in this game. And Jeffrey Simmons talked about it last week in the locker room, saying Denard Wilson had a meeting with them, showing them on the projector, this is how many tackles we've missed to this little bar in the first half. This big bar is how many we've missed in the second half.
Yeah.
That's got to get corrected, and it especially has to get corrected against Ashton Genty, who is 6th in the NFL with 292 yards after contact and 3rd in the NFL with 12 rushes of 10-plus yards this season.
That was the thing that got my attention, just peeling back the numbers. How many of those of 10-plus yards?
12.
And that's 12 of his 68 rushing attempts. 68 times he's touched the ball, a dozen were for 10 yards or more.
And that doesn't even count
That is
the
64-yarder
either.
this
That's
year.
just the rushes. Right.
Correct. Yeah, because he's averaging, what does he have out of the backfield? He's got 7 for 20, so not as much there,
not
but
a
he's
ton.
got 2 receiving touchdowns out of the backfield.
Right.
So they were short yardage stuff. Yeah, he is definitely the problem. I don't know what in the world's going on with Geno Smith. I realize that protection on the offensive line is a part of that, but man, it's like he's regressed to like old New York Jets Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world happened to
It's
you?
weird.
Now, I do know, they're missing their left tackle. Colton Miller, a couple of weeks ago, high ankle sprain. They figured out he also, after x-rays, had a hairline fracture in that.
Oh, man.
So he's on the shelf for a while. They moved the backup right tackle, Stone Forsythe, to left tackle in his stead. And that's not the only shufflings of the line that Pete Carroll has made, right?
Right, because Jackson Powers Johnson had a training camp battle with Jordan Meredith for starting center. JPJ, second-round pick out of Oregon in 2024, was a left guard last season. And Dylan Parham, the third-round pick out of Memphis, who's a fourth-year player, has been at right. He started at left as a rookie. Now he's back on the left. Jordan Meredith won the training camp battle at center, meaning that they moved Jackson Powers Johnson from left guard to right guard. And he's not really made the jump, I think, that Pete Carroll hoped. I think their plan, we talk about this, Ramon, a lot, how coaches, when there's a position battle, they have a guy they want to win the battle.
Best believe it.
Jackson Powers Johnson was the guy they wanted to win it, and he just didn't. And Jordan Meredith has 3 penalties in the last 3 weeks, and he got into it with Geno Smith on the sideline in Indy because he wasn't snapping the ball and got a delay of game. And by all accounts, it was on the center for not snapping it when he was supposed to. And they got into it. He's been heavily penalized. He played left and right guard last year. He's been moved to center where he's never played before, Jordan Meredith this season, and he's struggled. The interior of this offensive line is struggling in pass protection. Parham on the left, who's back where he started at 17 games as a rookie in 2022. Jordan Meredith at center and JPJ at right guard. That center guard triangle is a weakness of this Raiders offense.
Well, that's a problem because there's a guy named Jeffrey Simmons.
Yes, there is.
Who is playing out of his mind right now.
He
6
is.
quarterback pressures, a sack and a half. That's just Sunday's stat line.
Man, listen, if they have Jordan Meredith at center this week against like what Jeff's got going on,
And
like,
Shai Tuttle and Sebastian Joseph Day have been playing well, too.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
they have. And you know what? And here's the other part, too. You heard Denard Wilson and Brian Callahan both talk about having some involvement from Draymond Jones and from Jihad Ward. They've started to flash in this as well. Now, the other part of it is Jeffrey Simmons, he can't do it by himself, but, man, he's such a problem that other guys are starting to eat as an effect of this thing. Going back to what you said about Geno Smith, though, him getting into it with an offensive line, like that is not a new story.
No.
Several years ago, I think we're in MetLife playing the Jets. Jarrell Casey punched him. Yeah. They got in a fight. And then that same year, he got in a fight with one of his offensive linemen, I think, on the sideline. So that's not a new narrative.
His jaw broken by the other defensive lineman.
So, anyway.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, yes.
I mean, I guess Geno wasn't the only quarterback that was getting in trouble in Indianapolis this past weekend.
Whoa. Hey, now.
Yeah, not great for old Mark Sanchez.
The other part of this.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, yes. Uh-huh. The other part of this that is interesting to me is how much they have gone to 11 personnel, 3 wides, year over year, from the 12 personnel, which is tight end heavy. And some of that is the Pete Carroll effect, but some of it's by necessity because they're down to basically Ian Thomas as the tight end currently. Now, we'll see what the injury report comes out today, but Brock Bowers banged up a knee in week 1. He's been trying to play through it. They shut him down last week. Turned out he's got a PCL that he's working through on one of his knees. And then Michael Mayer.
Pacific Coast League.
Yes, Pacific Coast League. Michael Mayer has been in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So that has drastically changed their game.
Yep.
And like I said, some of it is Pete Carroll's tenure in this early on. And you can see the evidence of these things by if you'll look at the stat lines in various games already between Dante Thornton Jr. and Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker, who is
he's
wide receiver 3, but is their primary return guy. He had one game, he was just going bananas, like 140 yards and 3 touchdowns or something.
He's got 19 for 286 this
Washington.
I think you're right. Yep.
And the interesting thing, just peeling through all of the clips and reading the articles, reading some stuff on The Athletic, and I forget who had posted it on The Athletic, but they actually said that that Pete Carroll actually thought about putting Kenny Pickett in that ball game last week once it got so far in separated score. So anyway, you're right. On offense, Ashton Genty is the real problem with this, and I'm not discounting Geno Smith. I think the Titans, what is becoming a pass rush after notching 3 quarterback sacks last Sunday, maybe an equalizer in that stuff. Now, they'll still have to do their homework, for sure. But Ashton Genty, to me, is the much bigger problem in this if Brock Bowers is not available.
Right. DJ Glaze is the right tackle, 3rd-round pick out of Maryland.
That sounds like a character on Fortnite.
DJ Glaze. Paid 10,000 V-Bucks to unlock the DJ Glaze skin.
I'm laughing because you're right. I'm laughing because you're right, Red.
Just unlock the DJ Glaze dance on level 17 of Battle Pass.
Of course.
Rookie Charles Grant is their swing tackle now. 99th overall pick and a William and Mary third-round guy we talked a lot about in the draft process. So you're right. It is Genty and then everyone else on offense. Defensively, coming off of the ankle surgery last season after 12 games, Max Crosby's not been himself so far this year. And I say that, and I'm going to knock on wood right now that he's not going to have a breakout game this weekend. He's got only 2 sacks and 19 pressures, only 19 pressures in 4 games. He has only generated a pressure rate of 10.4%. That is
way
below
under his
league average and way below his career average.
Yeah. Now, let's say this, though. Don't let those numbers fool you, Will. Because if you go back, I watched the all 22 and a condensed version of that Bears game before we went to Arizona last week. He's still affecting the you-know-what out of the offenses, the opposing offenses. He's a problem. This is like Jeffrey Simmons coming off of an injury. Like, you have to account for him.
For sure.
Because he recorded his first career interception in that game against the Bears when he picked off Caleb Williams. And he had pressures and hurries. Anyway, I say what you're saying, those numbers, I'd like for that to continue with guarded optimism. Here's the other part of it. Tyree Wilson, the 7th overall pick 2 years ago, is behind him in that rotation. He's starting to show some of the promise in that high pick they chose with him a couple of years back. He's got a couple quarterback sacks himself. But you look through the 3 levels of this defense. The one thing I didn't realize until I started looking at the film of the Bears game, I did not realize that Jamal Adams had moved to linebacker.
Yeah, he has totally made a switch.
One of the reasons why they jettisoned Jermaine Pratt a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, if you look at him on the depth chart, he is listed as a linebacker.
He is a will linebacker in a 4-3. It's kind of like a 4-2-5 system almost because he's kind of a hybrid linebacker and safety.
Right, and so his game has translated to that
really well.
Maybe easier than the average Joe. But I was like, I guess I was asleep because I didn't realize he'd moved to anyway.
It's interesting, and I'm curious, Ramon, your thoughts on this. Someone who's played and blocked guys like this. His PFF grade's been very good, 80.0.
It's Jamal.
Jamal Adams at linebacker. He only played 40 snaps last year between the Titans and Lions. He missed 25% of his tackles. In 2023, he missed 24% of his tackles. This year, he's only missing 11.8% of his tackles. He's only allowing 5.9 yards per reception. What about a move to linebacker makes his missed tackle rate go down so much? Is it just the fact he's not in space tackling quicker guys as much? Is it just that simple?
It's more that and probably the role they're asking him to play. If you see run, go, get it. And then it is probably for him. Some guys are good in space just naturally. You can't shake them. And it seems to me like his ability to be aggressive and how he plays a position, which has been his calling card. He will knock you out. He will hit you hard. But guys have figured him out in space. Give him a quick move and he's done. He shrunk the field is basically what he's done for himself right now. May have actually extended his career if he can pick this up and stay healthier too. And the thing about him playing linebacker for me is you expect him to be fast. You expect him to be shifty and not take on hits too. His ability to dip around guys and blitz and understand angles a little bit better, even if he's not, laying the boom the way he should at moments. He understands that a little bit more because he's played in so much space. They shrunk the field on him, which is probably smart.
Makes sense.
Where us?
Caillou Blue Kelly is a place that I think the Titans receiving core can take advantage of based on the numbers that he's allowed so far. Jeremy Chin has always been a good safety to try to secure the back end of that thing. A thing that I find interesting in this, and we've walked through some of their woes, the Raiders special teams unit really kind of feels like what the Titans special teams unit was last year. Like they have had some issues.
Really?
They had a 98-yard punt return that they had allowed against Ashton Doolin last week against Colts. Only problem was Colts were called for holding, and that was negated. But they've had health issues. A.J. Cole has a block punt, hurts his ankle. They've signed another guy as the punter who was the former Bengals and Bills punter. And brought him in this because
Brad Robbins.
And because the thing is, they don't have a backup. When that happens, now he came out of the medical tent and was the holder for Carlson on a couple of field goal attempts, but Carlson had to handle the punts the rest of the way out. So there's just some things to watch there. And Daniel Carlson, who is, you talking about Joey Sly's got some length in this to hit long bomb field goals. Daniel Carlson can nail it. He missed a 57-yarder wide right last week. Wow. So I'm just saying they've got some issues in this, and that has been one of the consistent strengths of the Titans in 2025. Mac always talks about they've won field metric things week over week. They need more of that to continue. Listen, I'm thrilled that they found a returner in Chim Dike, who, and it's so much more than just him and his athletic skill set and vision to see a hole open and a crease open, but those coverage teams and those units that are blocking for him, you can really see the effect of Bones Fossil in this.
Definitely.
You really can, because they've got, golly, there's just some good people in that group who are all kind of working together. And it is exciting to see special teams.
It is.
For the first time in quite a while.
For sure.
I'd be lying if I told you otherwise.
I agree. Yeah, I think, too, you look at their secondary. Darian Porter is a rookie third-round pick from Iowa State. He just made his first start last week for the injured Eric Stokes, the former Georgia Bulldog and Green Bay Packer. Caillou Blue Kelly, you mentioned, is allowing catches 74% of the time he's been targeted this year. How about this at safety, though, for Isaiah Polamalu? Isaiah Polamalu, fourth-year safety out of USC. Pro Football Focus has graded 80 safeties this year. He is graded 80th.
That's terrible.
He has been the worst-graded safety in the NFL this year, missing 18.5% of his tackles, 20 tackles in 5 games. He has missed 14+% of his tackles 3 years in a row. Jeremy Chin is the problem on defense beyond Max Crosby. I agree with that.
They have the front and the back end of that thing.
100%. Not too dissimilar from what you saw in Budda Baker.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less quality version of that same kind of player, but I think there are vulnerabilities in that secondary, and I think Calvin Ridley has a good opportunity to build upon his second half in Phoenix this Sunday in Vegas.
The bottom line, and I started this visit with you guys, the Titans have to play 60 minutes the way they played the last 8:45
100%
of that game last
100%.
week. If they do that, they can stack a win for the first time in nearly 3 years.
What's fascinating is the way Geno Smith has played, just looking at it from a football perspective of, okay, how you match up with how Geno's played with the lack of Max Crosby production. You're not going to wood when you say that if you're a Titans fan. And the strength of where this team is, the Titans honestly have the better matchup. Ashton Genty has the bigger name, I feel like, in Tony Pollard, right? If you look at the way people view the sport, but person to person, man to man, with what they're presented you with, this might be the first time on paper the Titans have a matchup advantage, especially if you can hold back Adam Butler up the middle on defense and also Max Crosby. You mentioned the back end as far as the safety is concerned. As long as Cam is smart with the football, you don't have to worry about him holding or being intercepted. That's the part of it to me where it's advantageous for the Titans this upcoming weekend on the road in Vegas with the team that's 1-4 themselves.
And that's why I say do those things that you did well in that last 8 minutes and change for the 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And then let's see if you can have Calvin's stack of performance, because I do believe that may be syncing up with the quarterback properly now. Knock on more wood that you have J.C. Latham back at right tackle. And Oli Udoh's done a nice job.
Yeah.
But I would like to have the starting 5 in there in a perfect world, and let's see some increased snaps for Tajay Spears and see how that works with Tony Pollard. Because all of those things are potentially very positive things.
For sure. Interesting, too, on the Raiders, and one note on how they play defense. They have used zone coverage on 88.2% of opposing dropbacks this season, the second highest rate in the league.
If that's the case and they can't get to the quarterback, the creativity of the Titans wide receivers and Cam is where he gets outside of the pocket and create chaos for them.
And those tight ends, let's see if they stack something too. Because Chig and Gunner had a big part in that comeback.
You start to put linebackers and safeties in the flat in conflict when against zone, you can roll out and make them make a business decision. Am I going to tackle you or am I staying on my guy?
Yep.
back in coverage.
I'm excited to go see. I've never been to Vegas before. I think that's interesting.
Oh, nice.
But I am very interested to see the inner workings and the amenities of Allegiant Stadium, just knowing that, if I'm not mistaken, there's some same architecture firm people doing new Nissan. Just want to get an idea about what we're looking at potentially here in 2027.
I heard it's nice.
Oh, I'm sure it is. You know it is. They have the giant Roomba and we have the giant PlayStation. So
A record player, yeah, right?
yeah, the record player for sure, which is very Nashville. But I'm very interested to see all of that, and Coach Mack and I are going to do some stuff at the Road Rally at Old Red.
Yeah.
On the strip.
Saturday night.
If you're making the trip
So,
to Vegas, come out and hang out.
We'd love to see you.
Love it. Rhett Bryan joins us Wednesdays at 9, previewing the upcoming matchup, talking Titans. Pleasure as always. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, right?
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a lovely day.
We wrap up the show coming up next.
Simply a peace of mind every time. Call United or call All American Pest Control or visit yuckbugs.com. That's yuckbugs.com. And make sure you tell them Ramon sent you.
Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up your Wednesday morning. Check the podcast feed if you missed our conversations with Brad Crawford or Rhett Bryan, talking Vols in hour 3. We covered a little bit of everything this morning.
Yeah, we did.
That's what we'd like to do. Tomorrow we'll do the same. Jeff Ferris, the Austin Peay head coach, after a big ranked win over West Georgia over the weekend, a historically good season continuing for the Govs. Jeff Ferris will join us bright and early, 6:30 tomorrow morning.
Man, shout out to Big Jeff.
Coach Mack at 7:20, and voice of the Vols, Mike Keith at 8:20, plus Thursday 3 picks at 9:20, where I am going to break my streak. As God is my witness, I am going to break my losing streak.
It's not me this time.
No, it's not.
It's not me this time.
Very
I'm
much
so
me.
proud of myself.
I won last year's Thursday 3, and I was like 10 games over 500 against the spread. We are in bad shape to start this season. Let's go to Mike, who is next up on the phone, 615-737-1045. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
Good morning.
I just hadn't heard anything really talk about Lloyd Cushenberry and how he's holding up with his Achilles. He is no news, good news. And the only other thing is I got to say is, hey, Jeff, don't let that guy go. Please don't let that guy go. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Lloyd had his best game of the season by far on Sunday in Phoenix. And you look at Pro Football Focus, which, again, I hate using that as a primary source, but it is the best way to talk about linemen.
It is.
In a position that's hard to evaluate statistically. He has only gotten better every week, grade-wise. Literally, his pass block grade has gone from 37 in week 1 to an 80 in week 5. He has not allowed a pressure in 2 weeks. He allowed a sack, or not allowed a sack in 2 weeks, I should say. Allowed a sack against LA, a sack against Indy, and has been clean since then. And Ramon, I thought Sunday for the first time, he kind of looked like himself again.
He did, and it's 4 or 5 weeks is where he's at. First quarter of the season, man, it's always the case when you ask about offensive linemen. He's finding his bearings. Like, again, he was going to get tested in Denver. Made sure they ran down his face, right? The Rams did the exact same thing. You got to erase that from your tape.
Yep.
And it's been 3 weeks since. And now he's having a good showing with what he's capable of being as an offensive lineman. You mentioned that, I feel like on Monday, the interior of the pocket for Cam Ward is why he was able to settle down going into the second half. That is crucial for him, and Lloyd Cushenberry being a part of it. You're starting to see why he was worth $50+ million whenever he got signed. And to your point, yes, no news is good news for a guy like him. Getting over injuries are tough in all of sports, especially in Achilles.
Especially as big of a human as he is.
Yeah,
and
man.
Trusting your lowers to stabilize a lot of weight. It's easier said than done.
And to add to it, too, I like watching the psychology of players, too. Like, he also, to your point, who was a Mike that called in from Clarksville, he walked off the field with that Achilles. You know his sense of pride of getting back to where he was.
And pain tolerance.
Yeah, it was going to be there. Crazy. So, listen, that's a scary injury. Shout out to him.
I actually just saw Sam Hoppen put this out, NFL researcher for a data scientist at ESPN Bet, put out key offensive line stats year to date. The Titans had the 12th best pass block win rate of any offensive line in football this year, according to ESPN numbers. The other numbers he gives out in stuffed run percentage, the amount of runs that are stopped at or behind the line of scrimmage, Titans 9th best. 17% of the runs stopped at or behind the line. 25th in yards before contact per carry. 24th in run block win rate. And 29th in pressure rate allowed in that category. For perspective, the Las Vegas Raiders, it's actually kind of surprising considering how good Ashton Genty's been this year. Last to the NFL in stuffed run percentage. They have 27% of the time they run the ball. It's stopped at or behind the line of scrimmage. Pressure rate allowed, they're 22nd in the league and 27th in run block win rate. It is not a great offensive line you're going up against on Sunday.
Genty brings a lot of flies.
He sure does.
Like, that's the issue that they're running. You got to be creative with a guy like him. Like, is he a outside the box runner, a toss runner, or is he more downhill? Like, the expectation that he's going to be downhill is what he presents you with as a rookie.
Does he remind you of anyone, Genty?
Not a single back to me.
He's kind of a one-of-one type player. He's like a thicker Saquon.
He's not a Marshawn.
No.
He's not a Saquon to me. He's not a Todd Gurley.
He's just kind of Genty. Like, he's a thick in the lowers, big bowling ball that can run.
Yeah.
He is a problem this weekend. He is the problem for the Titans that they have to find a way to stop.
You know what he's more of? He's more of a run dang. Ricky Williams stature.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see
You know what I'm saying?
that.
Like, he's more of that to me if I'm going back in history. That's the way I see Genty, but more from him. Well, I guess not this week for the Titans. I hate Bert. He's the kid that messes with you in the classroom.
He's waving at you in the window.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I know.
Ashton Genty comp, when you looked it up on just Google, just searched it, 5'9", 215. His comps, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Steven Jackson, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Josh Jacobs. I like the Josh Jacobs one. Maurice Jones-Drew, another one somebody put out there.
Steven Jackson, Mark Ingram. That's who I see.
Back at it tomorrow morning. Jeff Ferris, Coach Mack, and Mike Keith will join us. Hope you enjoy your Wednesday. Talk to you bright and early tomorrow.
Absolutely. Good people. Remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.
Work. It's what we do. Part of who we are. There is joy in work. And no matter what size your business is, the dedicated commercial team at Two Rivers Ford will find the work trucks and vans that keep your business moving. And Two Rivers is the only dealer that offers a 90-day free fleet management program that can help you save money on every single mile. The Commercial Vehicle Center at Two Rivers Ford. We work for you.